From Screen Junkie Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Galaxy! This is the Guardians of the Galaxy movie fight. That means all of our topics today are surrounded around Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen 2 yet, you might want to leave, because I suspect we'll be talking about it. Hopefully no massive spoilers, but just in case, maybe come back and watch it after you, because you should have saw it by now. You've had time. Let's go. But Guardians of the Galaxy fight, that means we're going to be talking about who's the best Guardians of the Galaxy, what's the best song from the Awesome Mix in the movie, as well as so much other fun stuff, so stay tuned. If you'd like to join the conversation live, you can join us on Twitter at #MovieFightsLive. Dan Merle, you're checking the Twitter as long as the internet works.
I'm trying.
Our internet's a little wonky in here sometimes.
I don't have internet at the moment.
Need a hard line. Hardline.
Hardline.
All right, cool. That was a good segue. Good improv between us.
Yep.
Let's meet our fighters, shall we?
Yes.
All three of these people are Marvel experts. They are the hosts of Marvel Movie News, which airs Tuesdays at 2:30. I'm so happy to have them. Let's introduce him. First up, you've seen him here. He's the speed round master. It's Coy Andrew. Welcome, Coy.
Good to be back. Excited to fight my lovely co-host.
It's fun to have you. I know. I love it. You guys have a history together, so this should get intense.
Yeah. So much.
Who's the best out of the three of you? Who really knows the most and can defend the
It
most?
depends on the focus.
Okay.
Because for Deadpool fights, it'd be a very specific conversation.
This was Doctor Strange fight. Just don't even have anybody else
This
in
would be an
here.
empty seat.
If
man.
it's the
true.
Black
I think
Panther
everyone
fight,
would agree on
prepare.
that.
Yeah, I'd be out.
No, you know what would be
even-
Doctor Strange fight with Holly Conrad and John Schnepp in May.
Okay, really?
That could be a good fight.
You're letting them have that? Really?
No,
Live on air.
they both know
right.
Doctor Strange
Don't
really
do
well.
that, man. Come on.
Sorry,
You're
no,
the-
I
you're
am
the
the
expert.
champion.
You're the Sorcerer Supreme.
Look, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme champion. I
you
get it,
bowing
but
in your intro right now?
Yeah.
You know, they're pretty good, I gotta
they're
say.
good. It would be a good fight.
I
but
guess
would-
Matt Key, I thought he was the expert, but he's not in Doctor Strange. Welcome, Matt Key, to your movie fights debut.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. I've been on TV fights, but this is my first movie fight, so here we are.
It was only fitting. She earned her spot here, though, because she crushed it in the debut death match, which was really fantastic job. Markia McCarty, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look at that. You were just here. You made such an impression, even though you didn't win it. It didn't matter. You made such an impression. You're back.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. It was
Yeah.
like me versus, what was a total of 9 fighters, and now my second time here, I get to fight against friends, so this is
love
actually
You got a
Yeah.
very
cool.
specific career in movie fights. Very like 9 and then
know.
2.
Markia comes to crush. We've
Yes.
learned that. Markia comes to crush. We
Yes,
call her
Markia.
Crusher Kia.
Markia don't play.
Crusher Kia.
We do not.
Like,
Yeah,
Crush-
that's what we're calling her
Crusher
now.
Crusher.
Crusher Kia.
Dan's here as well to keep your facts going. As you know this because you've done TV fights, Matt. But yeah, we're keeping track. If you need questions, if something needs to be addressed, he'll tell us. Or if you're wrong, he'll tell us.
I'll try.
And he'll chime in if I need help.
It's all up here today. So far, it's all going to be coming from here and whatever
your
I
phone.
can get on my phone. Yeah, because I am a drift.
Well, we gotta try and
over
do one of those Wi-Fi bots. We'll figure that. They're working on the tech. As long as the show's streaming, that's all that really matters.
sure.
But this is all Guardians, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Question?
I do have a question.
Please.
How spoilerific are we getting with
I
Guardians
think
2?
let's do it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I
out.
got some
It's
stuff.
been out. Is that fair? Do we all agree?
Yeah,
I think it's fair.
Blanket warning.
Blanket
Blanket
warning. I've
warning.
warned you.
Blanket warning.
Don't
Alright.
yell at us. If you haven't seen Guardians 2, you should go out and see it and then come back and watch.
But perhaps before we give a spoiler for every single answer, we should say, now, spoiler warning.
No, we won't even do the
just-
spoiler
no.
warnings. We've done a blanket warning. It's going to happen. I know it is, so that's why I thought we would warn everybody. All right, I have a couple of quick announcements, though, before we begin. Some fun stuff brewing. A lot of people, Dan, have been asking, when's the fan choice to fight Dan?
Like that?
Yeah,
exactly.
they've fairly been annoyed because
Yes.
we have had trouble scheduling. There's a lot of people trying to schedule.
Yes.
But happy to announce it's happening in 2 weeks. Next week is actually
Utah.
Next week's actually another fun one. We have a flick pick, Ellis, and a TBD fighter doing a cage match, which means all Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Gonna be good.
fights.
Cage match.
Oh my God, I love
So
it.
get excited for next week. But then the
Fantastic.
following week, we have fans' choice for who will take that third seat to then fight for the shot against you, Dan Merle. And here's what we did that was interesting. We opened it up. Because a lot of people weren't available on all the dates that we needed, and it took so long. I was like, all right, we just got to see. Sorry, here's what it is.
Yeah.
But happy to announce that you will be able to go vote right now. Right now, yes. Do we have the link? It's there. There it is. sj.plus/FanPick. Go and vote for who you want to sit in a seat. Those 3 people will fight. Your choices, your top 3 choices, will fight here on the show. The winner will then go up against Mance and JTE to take the winner of that will then go one-on-one, mano-a-mano against Dan Merle for the belt. So that's happening all within this in June. We'll have that whole thing suit up, and we'll know if Dan's still the champion by June. So stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun fights between now and then. But you can go vote, and I'm happy to announce it. Here are the people you can vote to join. Joe Starr.
I don't even know this. Yeah.
Joe Starr, Mike Carlson, Coy Jandrews back. Brett Ehrlich, Roger Barr, John Roca has another shot.
Oh, yay.
Tony Revolori, Roth Cornett, Hal Rudnick, Sasha Pearl Raver. Those are your choices.
That's a murderer's row right there.
It's a lot of good players in there. All have earned spots to get another shot. We open it up. Even though you lost one of your rounds, if the fans think you would deserve another one, that's up to them. We thought,
I appreciate
let's let the fans decide if you deserve a second chance. Because you're some of our best fighters. So that's who's going to be up. The 3 best voters will play in 2 weeks. And then they will go on that 3rd seat to see who goes against Dan. Sounds a little confusing, but it won't be. It just means 3 good championship fights. We spread it out. Then, last little bit of cleanup. So happy to announce we're debuting a new show. If you're watching live, we tape this live on Thursdays. We're debuting a new show tomorrow, Friday. And here it is. It's called Flickbait. Oh, yeah. What this show is, it's an honest weekly take of the news with Dan Merle, myself, Spencer Gilbert, Joe Starr. We're going to give you, the guys behind our shows, give you our real skinny on how the news breaks down. We're also going to be challenging each other each week to see who can do the best news story. None of us know what we're pitching, and so we'll all be making fun of ourselves if we do terribly or not. The audience will be able to vote who did the best segment of the week. So it's a lot of fun stuff. I promise, tune in. Please give us a shot and tell us what you think. It'll be debuting tomorrow if you're watching live. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Screen Junkies News. If you're watching on YouTube, that means it's Saturday. That means it already happened. You can go back to Screen Junkies News right now and watch it. Hopefully there's like an annotation link, I'm sure, in the description to click it. So go check it out. Well, there you go. A lot of stuff to say, but I want to make sure all you guys knew what was happening. A lot of fun stuff. But let's get to this fight. Bing, bing, bing.
What a lovely day! Are you not entertained? Let them fight.
Ooh, love that new montage. Good job, Harry.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, round 1. I've been saving this fight for this show because this has been asked numerous times. We should have pulled someone who asked, but we didn't. It would have been a really easy pull to just say this person asked this question, but next time we'll do it. But this is a question that's been asked numerous months. Who is the best Guardian of the Galaxy? And we are starting with you, Coy. Who is it?
I think the best Guardian of the Galaxy is also, coincidentally, the newest Guardian of the Galaxy. The man who was just invited to join in the most epic and important of ways, Yondu. Yondu is such a good Guardian of the Galaxy, he actually transcended his kind of one-note take on the comics. Like, this is a movie version of a character that was great, made even greater. This is a character that, from the beginning, was seen as a bad guy, was actually doing good the whole time, which is about as Guardians of the Galaxy as it gets. This is a man who is blue, who has an amazing power, who has a mohawk, who stands for everything the Guardians of the Galaxy stand for. He is weird, he is eccentric, and he does greater things than people would expect from looking at him. This is a man who literally defied all of our expectations through 2 films and turns out did the one thing, and I'm going to save this for the comeback, that no one else in the Guardians did. I think he's the ultimate Guardian of the Galaxy, and I think he deserves the #1 spot.
Markia.
Okay, the best Guardian of the Galaxy is Groot/Baby Groot. Okay, I know what you were getting at with no one else has done a type of sacrifice thing. If it wasn't for Groot, during Ronan's assault of Xandar, when they're on the Dark Aster and the ship is going down, Groot makes the ultimate sacrifice. He huddles the Guardians within his plant bosom and survives, that entire spaceship, crashing into the capital of Xandar. And along with that, he's always ready and willing to go. Yes, I'll get the battery that's 20 feet up. Yes, I'll protect you now that we're in this prison environment, and Rocket the raccoon cannot defend himself if he doesn't have mechanics in his hands to be able to do something. I will take on that mantle because I am the best Guardian of the Galaxy. So yes, it is Groot/Baby Groot.
Matt.
I'm going to go with Rocket Raccoon. I believe that underneath all of that attitude and the thievery that he puts out there, he is probably the most loyal of all of the teammates. I think he's probably the one that's most dedicated, the one that's most looking for a family, and I think that that's where his attitude comes from, is sort of like a rejection of that, where he's like, I don't want to admit that I need this family, but I absolutely need this family, and I think that means he will fight for them tooth and nail every single time. On top of that, he's their weapons expert. He's the one who creates all the weapons that they use. He can fly the Milano like no one else can, except for maybe Star-Lord. So he can cover all the gamut of every single thing that every single person does. And though he has not sacrificed his life yet, I do believe he would absolutely put it on the line if push came to shove.
All right, fight it out, guys. Rocket versus Groot versus Yondu.
I feel like every single thing that was just said about Rocket is actually also true of Yondu, and they literally make a point of it in the movie saying, you and I are just alike. He is a pilot. He is a man that is looking for more than he seems to. He is a guy who would sacrifice everything. And the thing that my Guardian has done, that no other Guardian of the Galaxy has done, he has protected the entire galaxy by himself, because he's the only one of them that put his neck out, sacrificed his honorable title as a Ravager to protect Peter Quill. He loved being a Ravager. It was everything to him, but he knew that if Peter Quill went to Ego, that would be the end of the galaxy, and he sacrificed everything he stood for, even his own name and credibility, to protect the galaxy. He's the only one that's ever guarded the galaxy by himself.
Okay, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna disagree a lot
said
on
agree.
that. No, agree.
Yeah, I was like, oh, she's gonna agree.
I am Groot. Okay, what Yondu is that he's an abusive father, an abusive adopted father, and this is established many times during the course of both films, where Peter Quill constantly says how he was terrorized and beat as a kid. And then if he was any kind of a decent father, then why is it that Peter Quill just wanted to play catch with a father figure? Why was that such a big point if in any way, shape, or form that he could think of Yondu as a dad before that sacrifice that happens during the second film. Best case scenario, he aided and abetted a mass intergalactic serial killer. Worst case scenario, he aided and abetted a mass intergalactic infanticide between him and Ego. And also, there's no way that he had knowledge that Peter Quill's particular, like, he held the celestial gene, so that he was stopping Ego with the destruction of the galaxy. There is nowhere in the films where it establishes that. What it does establish.
In fact, what he was doing was like using Peter Quill to go into small, tiny spaces.
No, he even said in the beginning he was just making fun. He just said that's what he did, and he was protecting Peter the whole time.
I'm sure a lot of men and women and children love to say to themselves, the abusive person that's abusing me, they don't really mean it, because that's just for fun.
But the question is,
you have
who's
to
the
go
best
by
father
actions.
in the galaxy? That's not the best father in the galaxy. Who is the best guardian of the galaxy, and what do they represent? Someone who's protected the galaxy?
I think with everything that he has done, that sacrifice that he does, that makes him even. That's why he can have that funeral and everything with the rest of the Ravagers. That's why he can, because it redeems him back.
We don't know what Groot's done without Rocket. He has been with Rocket, and they're two sides of a very similar coin. Yondu has done plenty without anyone else, and for himself.
He's done plenty of bad.
Plenty of bad. He's done plenty of thieving and plenty of murder.
In fact, he even
Guardians
says,
have done all those things.
I've done nothing good in my life, rat. Let me have this one thing. He even says that himself.
He guarded the entire galaxy. These are thieves, and not like the Ravagers aren't necessarily murderers. That's why we find out in the second film they are good and they're trying to do the right thing. The Guardians
Ravagers
thieve
are space
constantly.
pirates.
Rocket stole batteries. Their job is to be a little mini thieves. That's what they do. The Guardians are
I agree. Rocket is not a good, the guardian of the galaxy. I definitely agree with that.
Here we go.
He's a divisive agent.
And Baby Groot is nothing a liability. Baby Groot does
Baby
nothing in the
Groot
second film except for almost blow up.
Let's let Matt get in there.
Rocket is the heart of the team. James Gunn has said that Rocket is the heart of the team. He said that in the first movie. He absolutely showed that in the second movie. The fact that Guardians, the second film, which made $147 million domestically, the giant film that it is, ended on Rocket crying over the death of Yondu. That to me says James Gunn points at Rocket and says, well, this dude's the heart. He's said it. He repeated it in the second film. The fact that the second film had so much to do with Rocket finding redemption through Yondu as a foil, I think that says a lot about how James Gunn feels about the character. Not to mention, Rocket is the biggest misfit. He was mistreated by scientists, created for their own good, turned against them, left to drift in the universe, finds Groot, they become a family unit, and then they help form another family unit. Without Rocket, they don't really survive the first movie.
No, Rocket is
Groot helps.
Rocket is
Groot
a complete wedge
helps.
driver. And in fact, he's also self-confessed in the movie that he doesn't care about people. It's during the scene where they are near the core of Ego, and Star-Lord even says, he says, oh yeah, now that we've saved the galaxy again, this is Rocket talking, we can really jack up our prices. And Star-Lord is like, oh, well, we got to care about the people. He's like, I care about animals, plants, things. You care about people? No.
So he doesn't guard the galaxy, he looks out for his interest and others like him, even though there's no one else like him.
He's being sarcastic, and the fact that he cries at the end proves the inner emotion that he actually has. The inner character,
I'm sure
the inner
monsters
heart
cry.
of
I'm sure Hitler cried.
God,
Just someone crying doesn't mean that they're the best guardian for anything or the best person.
What I'm suggesting is your arguments.
With Groot has always stayed true. Groot is a heart. He is the heart. He has to overcome other people's communication problems because they don't understand what I am Groot means. That isn't necessarily a
they
thing.
have to-
listens to
And in
Rocket
fact,
and does what he asks.
He does everything for his family, for the Guardians, and he also protects the galaxy. And think about it, Groot. I mean, look, our lead host even has Groot on as a shirt right now because that is how Groot, like, he intensifies.
Rocket's in there too, for the record.
He's a very
Thank
smart.
you. Thank you.
I just
For
I'm
the
curious.
record.
I am Groot
Did you
there.
guys cry in the End of Guardians 2?
Yeah.
Would you have cried without Yondu being as important a Guardian of the Galaxy?
He
Was Rocket
is,
crying over?
as you go,
Was Rocket
going
crying
back,
over Yondu, or
going
was
back,
Rocket crying over realizing he was a better person? Because I feel like the first two arguments you had were about Yondu, so all the reflections you have of Rocket are actually Yondu being the better Guardian.
Okay,
and the
so
entire second film,
for-
Baby Groot just ruins things because
No,
he's
he
cute and adorable and
doesn't.
sells things. He does one moment of sacrifice accidentally between two buttons. The entire second film is him being a cute Disney toy to sell toys.
He is a baby toddler, and he's still
He
the
cut off a
best
toe.
Guardian of the galaxy.
He cut off a toe at
He
some
did-
point.
We
he
didn't
did cut off a
establish.
toe.
We don't
He
know.
did
There
cut
might
off
have
a
been a
toe.
locker
Would that
somewhere
man-
that Yondu didn't know about
Did
that
that
had
man feel like he was
refrigerated
the best
toes
Guardian of
in
the
it.
Galaxy with 9 toes? I think
he was
not.
a space pirate that already helped kill half of the ship, so I'm not worried about that man's toe.
I'm just saying that my
Okay,
guy,
but as you were saying, with
Yes.
you said that Yondu was the newest member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and as we can say, Groot is the person that bestowed that honor on him because remember he's sitting on the shoulder of Rocket and he goes, "I am Groot," to be like, "Welcome to the
Frickin'
Guardians of the
Galaxy,
Galaxy."
but he didn't say frickin'.
I'm saying, so let's establishing a timeline of when he could be considered an actual Guardian of the Galaxy, because there is no way that he is before then. I'm saying as a conservative estimate, we could say that when he's actually in the ship and he's helping with Nebula and them to like do the generator to then take out, such and such. So from there to his sacrifice with Quill, those are good, good deeds and everything as an actual Guardian of the Galaxy. They do not surpass Groot's sacrifice for the team. They do not surpass Groot taking out a hallway full of Ronin soldiers with one plant-like stalk. It does not.
Right, I
It
agree.
does not
He's a
go
great- he's a
over
great
Groot
writing exercise.
protecting Star-Lord
Would
and
you-
Rocket
great-
and
so let me ask you
Gamora.
this. I can't
He
let
is
me
the
ask
best
you this.
Guardian of the
Let me ask you
Galaxy.
this. Would
He's
you
an
say that
A-bomb.
Hulk is the best Avenger because Hulk could do the same thing
That's
that
exactly
Groot
what
could
I'm
do?
saying. He's a
Groot
Deus Ex
is Space
Machina.
Hulk, basically.
Put him in
Okay,
space,
so
he takes
we
care
can
of
I'm
it.
say
just
a
saying.
lot of things that Flora Colossus from Planet X can do. We can liken him to a lot of superheroes. So that
That doesn't make
actually
him the best Guardian.
helps with my argument of saying that he has many parts of different superheroes all locked into one beautiful baby Groot
That doesn't
size.
make him the best Guardian.
Groot listens to others when he needs to do the things right. Yondu literally goes against his in-core Ravager team and against all of his instinct by protecting Peter Quill from the beginning. Sean Gunn, the actual heart of that movie, said himself, "Why are you always looking out for Star-Lord? Why are you always looking out for Peter when we've got our own thing going on?" From the beginning, Yondu's been protecting Peter. Not one instance.
Yondu
not one
protecting
time.
Peter does not make him the best Guardian.
It does
Peter
not.
is special, and then he
Rocket,
sacrificed himself
he
to
did
save
not
him.
know it.
Aiding and
He did
abetting
not
a
know it.
mass murderer. Just because he lost the taste for murder doesn't mean that we pin a
How many
medal on
other,
him.
kids died before Yondu was like, you know what, this ain't right. I'm not going to
Yeah,
do this
because
no more.
Did it not know?
Ego even said that Yondu had some of those. We saw that massive skeleton of all
Yondu
the
didn't go to
progeny
the
of
planet and
Ego.
look at a bunch of skulls going like, "Miss worth the money."
He
didn't
knew
know
that
what
something was
getting
up.
into.
And you know
All
what?
right.
There was definitely something up for the Ravagers to exile him.
Because he was dealing
They're
with kids.
space
Yondu didn't
pirates.
know
These
the
are
level
not
of
good
depravity.
people.
He could've just
These
been
are
populating the
intergalactic
planet.
anti-heroes.
populating the planet with
He
children.
knew.
He
We don't know.
definitely knew,
As-
but
as-
he
Matt.
liked the money.
As for Groot and everyone else going to save Quill, whatever, Rocket was the one who spearheaded the attack to go against the Ravagers by himself with just Drax and Groot on a ship to take on an entire Ravager. He's like, "Give us back Peter Quill" in the first movie. Without Rocket doing that, Quill's gone, Gamora's gone, the Guardians don't exist. Now, I will admit, Groot was able to save them, but you can't really call that a sacrifice when every frickin' twig that he explodes into can turn into another baby Groot.
wasn't established.
Thankfully, Rocket picked up one of the twigs and put it in a plant, not knowing that it's going to grow back.
That was not
Thankfully, it did.
established.
How many
But-
Groots are there?
That was
then,
not
theoretically? It
established.
doesn't make him a
That was
very
not
independent and
established at
likewise
all.
character. He's just like
There's no basis for that.
All
As
right.
far as
I was going to say, I'd love final thoughts, but as we go through, what defines a Guardian of the Galaxy, and why is yours the best to define it?
okay,
Oh, do you want to go in order?
Sure.
A Guardian of the Galaxy is one who is willing to sacrifice everything they stand for, everything that's important to them, and even their very lives in order to guard the galaxy. One who is a misfit, who is misunderstood, and who is misrepresented, and literally is trying to do what's right no matter the cost, and only one of these people is all of those things to a T in the first and second film, and Yondu's the only one that's done it.
Okay.
A Guardian of the Galaxy is defined as someone who goes above and beyond to protect the galaxy and also protect family. Who, even without fancy, gadgets or whatever, can just go ahead and get the job done. Not only that, but they stay true to character. And along with that, they always do what's right. They do what they feel is right, even if it's letting Nebula go, as Baby Groot does, because it's Rocket's overpowered. Rocket needs help. I'm too small. What can I do? The best decision was to let Nebula go. Groot is the personification of everything that a Guardian of the Galaxy is. He's smart. He has his own personal handicap, which others do have, but he gets the job done.
Matt?
A Guardian of the Galaxy, as they've all established, is self-sacrificing, willing to put their lives on the line, willing to go the extra mile to do what they have to save the galaxy as well as their family. Rocket has done that above and beyond every single time he's been called to. Sure, he may fight, and sure, he may complain about it, but that's his own inner turmoil coming out. The fact of the matter is, he always, 100%, will use whatever skills he has. I know Markia has mentioned a couple times that he has to use his technical skills. Yeah, he's a 3.5-foot raccoon. Like, he's not a giant tree. If I were a giant tree, I would have no problem going into a hallway and bashing some skulls. He's a tiny little raccoon who has risen above his height and his limitations, and has risen above the fact that he was this misshapen creature who should not exist, and he continues to put himself out there in the spotlight no matter how many opinions people have about him, and continues to save the galaxy for that reason.
Ooh, that was a good opener. Dan, anything to add?
That was a good opener. Just a couple things to weigh in on. Again, it was brought up in the fight. According to multiple reports, Hitler did cry.
Very important.
So there you go.
Multiple
Monsters
accounts
do
have
cry.
said
And
he
he lost? Like, what does it say when?
He was a painter.
I mean, I didn't really want to dive too deep into it.
You didn't want to dive too deep into Hitler?
No. One factual thing, though, it was brought up, the idea of Yondu helping Ego. Yondu actually wasn't really aware of what Ego was doing, and then when he did find out, that kind of helped spur his turn. So I think that perhaps in the fight it was kind of implied that Yondu was a little more on board with Ego than he actually was. A few people on Twitter also pointing that out. Otherwise, factually, pretty clean fight.
Thank you, Internet.
Oh, and
And I said aided
the Twitter
and
poll
abetted.
is very, very close. Like, it's a three-way, very close right now, so I'll let you know as soon as you make your roll.
Yeah, you all made great arguments. I think they sort of knocked Yondu out, in my opinion, just because I thought, while he did make his grace at the end and did do it, there was a lot of bad he did.
I mean, he wasn't Rocket Hitler.
Yeah, sure. But
Rocket Hitler?
God, can I
he
get
came
that on a
around, and he
t-shirt?
deserves to be, applauded.
Hitler.
But I think it became down to Groot and Rocket for me. I think, the biggest complaint about Rocket was that he's just the wedge driver, he kept saying, in his attitude, but I don't see that necessarily as that this is a flaw. You pointed out all the things that are problems with him, so I think there's a little bit more to Rocket, as you explained, Matt, so I gotta give Rocket the win. Rocket wins the round. Matt gets the first point. But very close.
Speaking of very close, let me give you the results of our Twitter poll right now. Right now, it's 36% Rocket, 33% Groot, 31% Yondu.
Wow.
It is literally almost
Pretty
a three-way
close.
tie.
But
so.
they picked Rocket.
Right now, Rocket, but literally, I've watched it change twice now just since I've been watching it. So it's almost a three-way tie according to our
All right, we'll
viewers.
keep
So
voting. We'll
very
check in on that
close.
throughout the show, because maybe that will change as we have the rest of these polls coming in. All right, this one comes in from Tom Sitch on Twitter. Round 2. What is the best use of a song in either Guardians movie? So we want to know, what's the best song off the Awesome Mix, Volume 1 or 2, and its use in the film. Markia, you're up first.
Okay, well, I chose Fooled Around and Fell in Love by Elvin Bishop. You're familiar with it from Guardians of the Galaxy 1. It's the scene where it is Gamora and Peter Quill, Star-Lord, on the balcony. Why this is the best possible use for any of the songs within Guardians. Right here it's the establishment of the unspoken thing. It's like here we have Gamora. Before that, she was badass. Kicking butt here, kicking butt there. Peter Quill was just a philanderer at that point. And then you get this intimate moment between the two of them where Gamora has her first real smile. And she does that with Peter Quill. She discusses about how Thanos is not her father, and that, it's just in that why she decided to finally turn against Thanos and Ronan and to get the Orb of Morag to then get the Infinity Stone. And he then opens up to her while she handles the Walkman, and then the song is playing softly in the background where he says about how this is, you don't do anything with it, you listen to it. This is, something that my mom gave me the day that she the day that I left Earth, kind of a thing. And then there's this implicit trust that happens when this hardened warrior lets Peter Quill put headphones on her head, like to just come near her enough to even touch her. And he even fingers her hair softly as his hands trail away. And then they have this beautiful dancing moment where they almost kiss, where she snaps back into, wait, this is not what's going to happen. He's astounded because he's like, no, wait, I'm not doing my usual thing. This is not what that is. And then you have, and something that James Gunn does with this whole thing, he films to score. And then, so they do a lot of scores underneath whenever they do a song usage. It is very interesting that the next scene, when it's between Rocket, Drax, and whereas they're fighting in the gambling den, and this it's the reveal of Rocket being like, nobody loves me kind of a thing, it's complete silence. And when you look through both of the movies, and I have, that is extremely rare. So this is the best song usage possible. It's the birth of the unspoken thing, and that actual scene from the balcony is part of the flashback that gives Peter Quill strength when he is fighting Ego, and you can slow down the footage and see that.
All right, Matt, what song are you picking?
I am picking Brandy by Looking Glass. Brandy is, it was, Ego said of Brandy that it was Peter Quill's mother, Meredith's favorite song. That was her favorite song. That had to absolutely resonate with him in a very major way. I thought they used it in a very clever way all throughout the second movie, by starting off with there and then revisiting it a couple times. That it is the only song of any song on both awesome mixes that had thematic weight for the narrative, very specific thematic weight to the narrative. And while every other song that they've ever used has been great and wonderful, and they've used it in very awesome and clever ways, be it, Hooked on a Feeling, or Fell in Love, or Cherry Bomb, or Father and Son, any of those, Brandy is the only one that they've ever used to communicate narrative weight, both from Ego and then later for what Star-Lord is kind of going through. So that's what I would say.
All right, Coy.
I went with the song that is not only used in every bit of advertising for the movie, both Volume 1 and 2, but also the song that is the actual heart and soul of what it means to be a Guardian of the Galaxy. The only song that is actually about the entire team and not just moments. Both of these are about moments. Mine is about the Guardians of the Galaxy. I went with Hooked on a Feeling. Now, this song is not only the first time we see them all in the prison becoming a unit. When you think back at the first Guardian of the Galaxy, you think about the first time you see Rocket's back, the first time you see the gratuitous Marvel Star-Lord shirtless moment, the first time you see them all rise up together, and it establishes the tone of where the movie's going. It goes into the second act feel of the thing being scope meets weird. which is what the song is. The song is scope meets weird. There's a gravitas to the song with an oomba chaka that you cannot get out of your head. That is actually what the Guardians represent. It is everything about these two movies in one perfect tiny little 3-minute bundle that you can't leave your head. And not only is it the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's also been in Reservoir Dogs, Ally McBeal, and a slew of other pop culture hits that are now forgotten because of how iconic it is to Guardians of the Galaxy. This actually transcended it being used in other giant properties. Ally McBeal had that dancing baby. Reservoir Dogs is one of the Reservoir Dogs is about the music, and this is what people think about it for. That's how good they used it. It isn't which is the best song for a moment or which is the most exposition, because yeah, Kurt Russell can say words and make it sound awesome. He can read the dictionary and be excited. This is about which is the best song in the movie, and this is absolutely it. There's a reason it's used in the second one and the first one.
All right, guys.
Just real quick, can you repeat the actual question?
Best use of a song in either Guardians movie.
Thank you.
Did you want to go with that?
Yeah, so best use of a song in either Guardians movie. So we're not talking about advertising or trailers or anything else like
The
that.
prison
We're not,
scene where they're
and we're
first the
not-
Guardians.
Yeah, we're not talking about advertising or trailers because that was part of your argument. We're not talking about any of that. We're not talking about how it's used in other movies or iconic movies or anything
Are you
like
asking
that.
for those to be stricken from the record?
Yeah, because it's just I'd
those
like for
don't
those to be
count.
restricted for the record.
No, it's totally
because,
relevant that it transcends
but
other examples. That's not fair. No. It
Well,
literally
it's like
is
the
so
best song
well
in
used.
either Guardians movie.
It's so well used you forget the other uses of it. That's totally relevant. That's how
I
well
would
it
make
was
the
used.
argument. I would make the argument that it's not that it was used that well. It's because it's the most recent movie that's used it.
Ally McBeal had an entire campaign about a baby dancing using it. And that
Can we
was
get a Twitter poll of who remembers Ally McBeal at all? Please.
Let me know how Danny Jr.
I
is
do
doing.
remember.
Okay, but
And the dancing baby.
And the dan- when you said it.
I'm not. But like after
I'm
you
just
said it,
saying-
I was like, oh yeah, that did exist. That was a thing that existed.
But that's how well they
it
used
had
it.
nothing
Different
to do
demographic.
with Star Lord. That's
but,
all I'm saying.
You know, keeping it to either Guardians movie, which is what the question is actually asking for. So with you kind of made you implied that with Fooled Around and Fell in Love, it was a moment as opposed to being a thematic through line that existed through Guardians 1 and Guardians 2. And like I already established, that it was even part of the flashback. It's actually the only real scene that exists in either the Guardians movie. That particular balcony scene is part of the flashback that gives Peter Quill what he needs to fight a Celestial.
Yeah, both of these songs are part of Peter Quill, not the Guardians. I agree. These are both
So
Star
with
Lord
Hooked on a
songs.
Feeling, and you said about them being a unit, they are not a unit. This song is fun. This song is super fun. I don't think it's the best part of the song usage. If it was, then why didn't they use it when he actually gets it and then he escapes? The song that they use when he's escaping is actually Escape the Pina Colada song. We never actually see this song again.
I mean, it's called
and in
Escape,
fact,
that makes sense.
and then one of the points that you had where it's like that it's iconic for the Guardians and such, I beg to differ. Actually, the very first song that we ever run into with Peter Quill, where he is dancing along, it's a song by Redbone, Come and Get Your Come and Get Your Love. Come and Get Your Love. That is more iconic
I'm
than
glad
Hooked
you
on
can
a
describe all
Feeling
the songs
would
that
be.
are better than yours, but that's not the argument.
No. I'm not
very
doing that.
excited for
no,
your
I'm
use
saying,
of yeah.
No, I'm saying those one-off songs, those one-off songs that you were trying to do for usage, while mine is a through thematic statement
Which one of
throughout
these
1 and
songs
2.
is a meme with Star-Lord sitting in a chair going, when I'm hooked on a feeling, you better
Once
be hooked
again,
on believing.
best song
That's
usage
one
in
of the-
either Guardians movie.
That is how iconic
It's
the
go
best
ahead.
A
use.
meme
Go ahead,
doesn't
Matt.
count because
Yeah.
it's the movie. It's great that we use it in memes. I love memes. They're fun, but that doesn't count towards the movie. And going back to what you said about these songs being about Star-Lord, so is your song. Your song is the one that gets him to go, that's Blue Sweet, give me back my awesome mixtape. That's what that song is. And then he gets tased. Okay, it's a great moment. We see some strength from Star-Lord, but this song is not used to describe the Guardians in the movie. It's used to give Peter Quill a moment. So that argument doesn't count. All three of these songs are used for Peter Quill. Your song is wonderfully used for Gamora and Star-Lord. I completely agree with that. Brandy is also used for that. And it's not exposition. It's a deeper character point that Star-Lord is trying to get past, where he is paired up with Ego through half of this movie, where Ego is a foil for Peter. Peter wants to be with Gamora, but he's like Ego, called to be a pirate and a space warrior and all this other stuff. Ego is the far example of what he could possibly become. And he uses Brandy to describe a very nefarious, evil thing where he's like, you can't fall in love, Peter. We're the sailors in this song. Brandy's a great girl, but you gotta leave her behind. And at that moment, Peter's like, I don't want to do that. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to be the sailor in the song. I don't want to be my dad. I want to turn against that. So if the argument is that this is like your song is one of the main ones used for Star-Lord and Gamora, Brandy's also a very important one. And while the secret thing that may have existed between them fell in love, your song, Brandy by Looking Glass is the one that convinced Peter, I should full on commit to this. I can't be this jackass. I've got to be my own guy and settle down with Gamora.
Since it's best song usage, I got so freaking tired of Brandy, like all throughout Galaxy Volume 2. It was like hitting you over a club.
It was the first
it's
song,
like,
and then the third song, and then the sixth song.
This is
and
what
speaking lyrics is so contrived because you can literally.
Like, could you come up with a different way to convey that?
Sounds like we're now criticizing the song.
No,
the song talks.
It's too much.
Having something used 5 times.
We're smart individuals. We get it. You don't have to hit us over the head with it a third freaking
That'd be like
time.
Rocket coming in and being like, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down. And then them playing tub thumping, and then Groot being like, I am Groot. I go to Groot. It doesn't work if you use it 5 times because we feel dumber for it.
Yeah, it's like, stop. And that you were saying about it being the strongest thematic statement, or being a strong thematic statement. Actually, and this is on record, like James Gunn has said this, it's The Chain, Fleetwood Mac. That's
the song he started writing.
Exactly. That's the song that is. So if you're looking for a thematic statement with what you're saying, then you would have to, in that way, go with The Chain, Fleetwood Mac. You hear it twice in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. One, when they're splitting up and going their separate ways, like they're going with Ego, and then again when he's fighting Ego. So cool, stronger than Brandy, and they don't hit you over the head with it.
Really
Not as strong as Fooled Around and Fell in Love by Elvin Bishop. What it makes it sound like
is you're making a better argument for The Chain to be a better usage song
I think
than any of the songs that we're using.
I think it's on the same level as Fooled Around and Fell in Love, because also, like I said, bringing it back to that whole, when Peter Quill gets up his energy and he's fighting Ego, that moment on the balcony used with that song.
But they didn't use the song.
They didn't use the song. Want to take The Chain instead?
No, I stand by.
Yeah, good. I was going to make sure you lost.
No, I maintain that the first time the Guardians have a montage that feels like you're going to see them become the Guardians is hooked on a feeling. There's a reason it was used in the advertising as well as the movie, because that is the moment. I'm not arguing for the advertising. I'm arguing the reason the advertising uses it is that's the moment they become the Guardians of the Galaxy, not the moment that Gamora realizes she might like Peter, not the moment that Ego has a contrived exposition plot. It's the moment that you realize they are the Guardians of the frickin' galaxy.
All right, I'm using that as your final. Good. Markia, final thoughts?
Okay, so I'll just focus it on mine and not try to remember the song that was actually when they became together as the Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was Cherry Bomb.
It was Cherry Bomb.
By the way.
Let's just read the volume 1 and 2. Like,
let's just go through it.
These are the great songs.
Like I said, it's with this song, Fooled Around and Fell in Love with Elvin Bishop, why I chose that as my first one as opposed to The Chain, Fleetwood Mac, obviously I talk passionately about that, is because it is the only song that you're not beat over the head with it, but it's also the lyrics make complete sense with this transition that these two people are going around. And it's not just about Peter Quill. Fooled Around and Fell in Love is about Gamora too, where she was this badass, and then she turns around. And there's Peter Quill. He was like a lot of guys that I used to date, but he turned around. They came together, and this song is just so incredibly perfect. And if you actually go over the lyrics, which I didn't write down, and you actually go over the lyrics, you understand why there's this is a beautiful through line that goes through both of the movies, and why it comes up as a point at that critical point at the end of the second one.
Matt, final thoughts?
Yeah. So Brandy, as I said, is the only one that's used with any semblance of thematic weight. That puts it in a whole other category of, it's more than just this one moment between these two people that serves like a sort of like B subplot for the character, whatever else. This is a very specific, Star-Lord has to overcome this one thing to become the better person that he knows he can be, the person who can fall in love, the person who can lead the Guardians, the person who is, because it goes beyond just Gamora. It's, I need to be there for my family. I'm not going to take off and be this solo cowboy by myself. I'm going to stick with the family, unlike the sailor in the song. I'm going to stick with the people I love. and go with them through the galaxy for the rest of my life instead of leaving them at a port to serve whiskey and wine.
Dan, anything to
Yes.
add?
So is it whiskey or wine?
Well, looking at
me.
Twitter, I think I've seen
wine.
just about every track on the Guardian soundtrack. But they have all.
So you got it memorized.
I have it memorized. But despite all of the different ones, they have all rallied around together. It's the first time I've seen this. Twitter audience has all rallied around together to proclaim to all of you that you're all wrong for not picking "Come and Get Your Love" as the best one, because they have decided that, as David Wilson says, that helped establish Guardian of the Galaxy's tone right away and was super fun. So Twitter as a whole
Yeah.
Hates us.
believes it's
Yeah.
actually "Come and Get Your Love."
The Twitter
I don't think any of
Good
you are
point.
right.
Good point.
But yeah,
It was
seen,
great.
Yeah.
Jeremy Hastings says it's The Chain. Leanne Summers says Father and Son. Patricia Carrillo says
Yeah,
it's
Father and Son.
I Want You Back for Baby Groot at the end of the first one. Tom Zambino and a lot of other people thought Moon Age Daydream was great.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's a good one.
What a great problem
it was
that there's
nicely
100 good
placed.
songs.
It was
Yeah.
when you first get into Nowhere, and then they have David Bowie.
But and
It was
also
nicely
there's
placed.
there's a clear winner in our Twitter poll, which I will tell you after you make your ruling.
Yeah. Based on the arguments, I heard just too much repetition on Brandy from Matt. The thematic weight came up several times. And then Hooked on the Feeling, I just think got caught up in marketing. I think Markia just gave me a really strong argument for that song, which I didn't really consider until you gave me all your moments. And how it doesn't hit you over the head. It really does have an important moment. And also your takedown of, we don't see that song Pina Colada. There's other songs that really unite the Guardians together. It came down between Brandy and Fooled Around, but I heard a little bit more passion from Markia, so she gets the point. But yeah, they picked Hooked on the Feeling, right?
64% picked Hooked on a Feeling.
Nice.
21% picked Brandy. 15% actually only voted for Fooled Around and Fell in Love.
Hey, it's a soft.
Yeah.
It's a soft.
No, it's a
boil.
really
It
important
really-
moment.
Oompa Chaka for life.
But if we're talking thematically and including the marketing, Ooga Chaka, well, the chain has that
I'd
too.
say
For
the
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
for
the
me,
chain's
it was the
real
scope plus the
strong.
weirdness of the song. The whole thing. When I think of Guardians, I think of how weird.
No, you
and
did.
Like,
Your what you call it? Scope meets weird.
yeah, scope means weird.
that
That's
is
what I think of
fair.
Guardians.
Yeah.
That's how I
like
describe
that he
Koi to all my
claimed it.
friends.
Yeah.
Scope means weird.
Anything else, Dan? Before we go to 3?
No, I mean, there's questions about, of course, some people were confused. They didn't think Hooked on a Feeling was in Guardians. It is.
It is.
Oh, yeah, very much
It is prominently
Played in the
featured.
trailer.
in
Look,
the-
the
Yeah.
blue guy takes
Yeah.
all his headphones.
It's prominently
He
featured in the
claims it.
trailers.
Yeah.
And then he's tased.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. Here we go. Round 3. This comes from Fireblade 4256. Pitch a Guardians spin-off movie. We have 3 experts
Spin-off
here.
movie? Because it said pitch us Guardian spin-off when we got it.
I mean, yeah, it's movie fights.
Oh, wow. Well, then, okay.
A stage play.
Spin-off.
All right.
Well, yeah, what do we do? I don't know. I thought I read yours right.
No,
yeah,
it's-
it's a spin-off.
movie
It means it's a movie. We don't do TV shows here. Luckily you're third, so you can process that for a
Okay.
minute, Markia. Matt, what are you pitching?
I am pitching a movie just called Galactic Guardians. Now, stick with me on this. Remember Nowhere, the severed head of the Celestial that they visited in the first movie? So in the comic books, that is a spaceport that the Guardians of the Galaxy work outside of. It's their base of operations for a large part of their existence. And that spaceport is run by Cosmo the Space Dog, a Russian dog who gained telekinetic or telepathic powers. And he runs Nowhere, and he helps to send the Guardians on their missions a lot of times. So the idea that I have is that we've seen Cosmo the Space Dog in both films now. It's time for him to get a spinoff. And he's now running Nowhere. And he, inspired by the Guardians of the Galaxy and what they've done, has decided that his spaceport in Nowhere, the severed head of the Celestial, is centrally located and could act as a very great jumping off point to save the galaxy should it ever be needed. So he collects a bunch of other heroes together, namely Moondragon, Philovel, Angela, the daughter of Odin, and he ends up convincing Aletta and Starhawk to join with him when Vance Astro comes from the future to declare that the future is in trouble because the Cancerverse has been awakened by Magus, and they have to go stop the Magus from awakening the Cancerverse in the future. And they go to fight Adam Warlock. And convince him to not become the Magus because that's how it happens in the comics. And Adam Warlock gets pulled onto their team as well, and they decide to call themselves the Galactic Guardians instead of the Guardians of the Galaxy because Guardians of the Galaxy is a mouthful.
Well, that might be one of the nerdiest starts to a fight. That was wonderful.
Magus.
You know, that was some deep
both of
comedy. I
us
loved
were
it.
like, we know all of that. We were like, yes.
Matt could have made all of that up, and I couldn't tell you the difference.
Stuff in
He's
there.
a level 17 wizard,
Yeah.
and then he
It would
comes
have been
in.
slick
Which
though.
is
One
what
little minor
makes
thing that
it
was
no
untrue.
idea.
He has his +7 nerd shirt on.
It would take me 3
Asian
weeks.
shirt
No, I
plus
applaud.
7.
I could tell you were going deep, and I loved it. All right, Coy, number 2. You're up.
Now, mine is interesting because it is the 2 picks that these lovely folks picked as their favorite Guardians of the Galaxy, and the only one that makes sense logically with the Guardians of the Galaxy to be a spin-off movie, and that is a buddy cop team-up between Groot and frickin' Rocket. We know, and the best part is they're CGI, so we don't have to worry about aging and looking awful. Now, we know the 2 of these characters team up. We know that they were traveling through the galaxy before we met up with the Guardians. We know so much about the history, but we don't actually know what happened. We only know that it happened. Hollywood loves prequels because it's got a built-in market. They rarely do them right because they try to de-age actors. You don't have to worry about that at all. People already love Baby Groot. People already love Teenage Groot. People already love Rocket. These are characters that already exist in a timeless fashion. What better way to have them in their own thing than by have the timeless structure of a prequel? Now, these 2 characters are both so different that the movie structure could be amazing. You've got Groot on a planet of roots that gets destroyed and there's only one left. You have Planet X introduced as like this beautiful Lord of the Rings epic. You've got tons of these plant creatures. You see it get decimated. You lose all of that, and all of the love that everyone feels for Groot is instantly the first act of the movie. You have so much built-in turmoil. Then you've got Rocket Raccoon, who's freaking Wolverine. He's a mutated, abused animal who doesn't know right from wrong, who's dealt the worst hand in the world, and who's literally abused his entire young life. You've got 2 of the biggest characters in Marvel, but without rights issues, without anything to worry about, as a buddy frickin' cop movie, the most underrated genre in film, and you put these guys together. I don't know a single person on the planet that wouldn't see a buddy cop movie with these 2. As you guys already gave me, they're the best 2 Guardians, so let's put them in a movie together, and let's have it be in canon with the movie we already have, and it's perfect.
Arkia, your turn.
Yes, I've now changed this into a movie.
Okay.
Okay, so mine is Ravagers. And it would be, it's a Ravagers movie, but it would be led by Lita Ogard. That's Michelle Yeoh in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when you see her. So the whole scope of this is that it's something that we have with Marvel a lot is that we follow the good guys. Follow the good guys all the time, and then, there isn't really necessarily a real... They don't do bad guys as well as they
Suicide
could.
Squad.
Well, that's DC, so...
No, I'm just saying that
yeah.
Marvel doesn't have the Suicide Squad.
Exactly. And we don't have people like Galactus or Silver Surfer because those are owned by Fox, so, we can't use them. But something that would benefit us is that if we followed a bunch of intergalactic anti-heroes, like the Ravagers. So what we would do with this, and we wouldn't go incredibly too nerdy in it with like bringing in the Fault and the Cancerverse and stuff like that, because we don't want to alienate the mainstream people, but we also want to keep it
It's a little nerd jab.
Yeah, I felt
because we also doing my open argument. The whole point with this is that yes, we would have Lita Ogard, and this would be a flavor of kind of a flavor of Battlestar Galactica, with a little bit of the fun of Firefly that you would have, but it also is rested in Guardians, and it's freaking space pirates, and it's also a heist movie. It would be all of those together, and it can easily do that. And the fun Firefly aspect of it is the other Ravagers that you would have on board with Aletta. Because Aletta, we know her, she has light manipulating powers when she joins with, the background. She's part of Starhawk and everything like that, but we're not focused, that's not a spoiler. So like with this would be a major property that would actually help flesh out some of the Ravager backstory. Doing that along with not alienating people, we can have a lot of cameos in there. Things like they can be going after things like the Rune Staff or the Possessor. They can be doing things like collecting the scattered artifacts that happened after the Collector's, vault go boom. But along with that, we can see characters like this is how we can bring in Martin X, Charlie 27, Mainframe, if you really want Miley Cyrus, and at the end, we could have Stakar. And then also, I like the idea of putting Vance Astro in there. It all depends on where this is going to be set. If it's set in the future, then yes, Vance Astro, we can have a major victory, and then we can have a romantic aspect between Aletta and him. But the point of it is, the thrust of it is that you have this female-driven movie where it's these Ravagers, anti-heroes, these space pirates going after artifacts. They're villainous, but they're lovable. They're the Ravagers that we know and love. And yeah, I think this would be a huge property. Let's have Lexi Alexander direct it.
So we already have a lovable space pirate movie. It's called Guardians of the Galaxy, and then there was a sequel called Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and I enjoyed them very much. And we also have already had a talking dog movie written by James Gunn. It was called Scooby-Doo. Didn't do so well. So I feel like the two movies that we have are enough of that, and these are already anti-heroes. And if you want to go anti-hero, we have The Punisher, who's going to have a great Netflix show. If you want to have deep cut nerddom,
it's not Space Punisher.
No, it's not Space Punisher. We don't need it. We have Guardians of the Galaxy.
This is a different idea.
And then if you want to go deep cut nerd, Volume 3 is going to have all the characters that are possibly going to be mentioned in either one of these films. They were introduced, and they were the only characters in the movie that made everybody go, well, who are these people that look like Generation X 90s X-Men ripoffs? We don't need either of those movies to exist, and neither would sell well enough to actually warrant the technology and production to get it to that point. And mine's the only one that actually has a chronology that makes sense. I don't think anyone would see a movie led by Cosmo because we don't need it, and I don't think anyone would see a space pirate movie that isn't Guardians because we have Guardians.
First of all, everyone's going to want to watch us. We have a talking raccoon. You're saying you want a talking raccoon to lead your movie, but they don't want to come watch a space dog?
Oh, that's true.
A telepathic space dog.
There's a reason he's only in the end credit scene.
Yeah, because he hasn't made sense for the plot just yet. He makes sense in his own movie based on a comic book where he takes over nowhere and creates his own Guardians. And they are going to fight like this weird future fight that the Guardians aren't going to do because they have Guardians 3. So this gives us a whole other side of the cosmic universe to explore with entirely new characters that are not necessarily based on the Guardians. They're a little more heroic because, as you already said, we have heroes. We've already got the anti-heroes, but we've got people like Phyla Vell, who is Quasar. She is a protector of the universe. Then we've also got the space pirates in there with Aletta and Starhawk also joining. You mentioned that you want a female-led movie. My movie has 4 women to 2 men, 3 men if you count the space dog. So like both of your arguments start to fall apart when you look at my movie. Plus, not only that, the nerdy deep cuts, that's going to get every last nerd in there. If you go to a movie and you're like, wait, Phyla Vell and Vance Astro are fighting the Cancerverse? What? And you said you don't want it to alienate them. Rocket, who had heard of Rocket before the first movie? Yeah, you had. Nerd. Great. Ego's one of the weirdest freaking things out there. He's a planet, and they changed it from the comics to make it to where he's like, I've got a human avatar now. All the nerds were like, F yes, let's do that. And all the normal people who don't read the comics were like, yeah, that works. I'm on board for that because Marvel has established a pattern. No matter how weird you get, it just gets better.
With marginal leaps, absolutely.
With
you have
respect,
to get
though,
there.
You've got Deep Space Nine with a talking dog, dude.
I've seen Space Scooby-Doo. It was a fun episode. I've already been there, and you need reasonable leaps.
It's just too much. I mean, yes, I like that whole thing with the Cancerverse and the Fault, but I don't want that along with Talking Dog, along with having to establish nowhere, along with Phyla Vell, along with Moondragon, along with Aletta, along with all of this stuff. It's just too much.
You know what's tremendously
I can't
easy?
Sell it.
There's another dimension. It's breaking over. There's bad people in it. Done. That's the Cancerverse.
Why watch that?
Why not watch that? Who doesn't want to watch that?
I don't really, and I host Marvel movie news.
It's a very convenient answer while you're on a movie fight show.
I am the market, and when I saw the end plug for Volume 3, I was like, man, I'm glad the regular Guardians of the Galaxy are in this too, because that movie looks not good. Like, I wouldn't watch.
What movie doesn't look not
watch
good?
the Just Alone Guardians of the Galaxy team in their own movie. I wouldn't watch that.
Stakar Ogord and Aletta?
And I'm a nerd.
How would you not watch that?
And that is even
what are you talking about?
You wouldn't watch it because you don't have it
you
in the way that I would want to do it, where you just have Aletta Ogard, where she's the leader of Space Pirates. So you get her, and it's kind of like a river song, but she has her own ship, and she has her own ships, and she has her own pirates.
Or I watch Firefly.
River songs from Doctor Who
with space pirates.
But not that, because that's a little bit too campy.
Right. What do you guys think about his cop movie?
Oh yeah, what's the,
it's Groot and Rocket.
It's
Two guys literally have talked about as being the best Guardians of the Galaxy, and we don't know their history.
Yeah.
It
Do you want to know what makes them the best Guardians of the Galaxy? When they're on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
As opposed to a dog that didn't speak in the first film, or a dog that was in the credits that doesn't even warrant a movie.
The movie I'm pitching is completely different from what the Guardians are, because as you said, Deep Space Space Nine. We haven't had that movie yet. My movie is completely different
I
from what
wasn't
we've
saying,
had.
I wasn't saying it as a
Babylon 5 and
compliment.
Deep Space Nines were canceled for a reason.
Yeah,
no
I
one
wasn't-
watched
I
them.
was not
After a
saying that
few
as a compliment.
seasons,
In
after
fact,
a few
it
seasons,
kinda
and there are
sounds
some
like
people who
it
called
sounds
it
like
the
a
best,
million.
most
Deep Space
dramatic,
Nine
most
meets
character-driven
Voyager with a
pieces
talking dog.
from Star Trek. I'm just saying.
not-
I'm just
The
saying.
only
That's
one
the
of these
argument.
movies that has a market is mine.
Well,
And the
the
only
thing of
one
it
of
is
these
that
movies
they're-
that I would see is
they're
mine, and
not-
I'm a Marvel movie news
Well,
host.
that's because you pitched it. Of
That-
course
but
you
yeah,
would
of
see
course
it.
you would
But
say
no,
that.
But then
After
the thing
the
of it
show,
is-
you're gonna be like, you know what, your show sounds awesome. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, we got Moondragon and Phyla Vel, they're gonna hook up. I want to see that movie. And
Oh,
you're gonna be
man.
like, oh man,
You
I
know,
can't
as
wait
soon
to
as we
see
walk out this door, you'll be
Angela
like,
of Heaven.
I want a female-driven pirate movie.
She
Space
is
pirate.
Thor.
And
She's Thor. She's Space Thor.
She's
You
an
don't wanna
image
see
character.
Space Thor.
An image character, sure.
But
And
No,
talking,
she's a
talking
Marvel character now.
specifically about his movie.
No, but-
because we're just going everywhere.
Baby Groot, adult Groot, teenage Groot, all incredible. A planet of
Which
them.
Groot is in yours?
Oh, mine is the
Yours is the prequel.
Teenage turning
Okay.
into adult Groot. That is the thing we haven't seen yet, and it's also a planet of other Groots until it gets destroyed.
It doesn't hold my
get-
interest.
That's a prequel to the first Guardians.
It's a
Who cares?
prequel to the first Guardians.
I want to see what they're doing now. I don't care about the
Yeah,
prequel. I already know where
really
they came from. I already
I
have a
like
basic
their
idea of where they
interaction
come
with
from.
the Guardians,
I
like Matt
wanna
was
see
saying.
them
I
meet.
like their interaction with Gamora. I like with when they're in the middle of the space battle with like Volume 2 at
I
the very
like
beginning, and she's like,
Groot
"Groot,
having
you
rocket
need
on
to-"
his shoulder. I
and
want to see the
he's
moment that leads
waving.
to that first climb up. It literally
It's
already
just-
has the
it's
third
just
act
not-
moment. My movie
they're-
already
they're
has the
not
moment where
strong
Rocket
enough
climbs
by
up for the first time
themselves.
and rises and turns into full Groot. I
They
can
work
already
really
see
well
that
with
three
everybody
shot.
else. I don't want to see a prequel,
It's-
just maybe an animated short, but not a
All right, I need
full-length
the audience
movie.
at home to help me vote on this one because they're the ones who are buying the tickets. So the poll's up on Twitter. Make sure you go vote. Last thoughts. Go ahead, Matt.
Here's the deal. My movie, Nowhere, completely different from what we've seen from the Guardians, and that is saying something. Guardians is out there and weird and wacky and WTF in every single way. My movie is that in a completely different direction, but it's still wacky and still weird. It can still have all the awesome mix whatever that you want to have. On top of that, you get completely new characters in there that we haven't seen in the Marvel Universe before that can then go feed even bigger stories in the Marvel Cosmic Universe. You have Moondragon, who's a telepath, who maybe they establish she actually is Drax's daughter. That would be crazy if she's still alive. You've got Vance Astro coming from the future to solve something, the Cancerverse. Like, that's something that fans have been clamoring for. I've seen that plenty of times on our Marvel show. You think they're going to do the Cancerverse? I would love to see that because then we get evil versions of those characters or of other characters that we've seen before. That's a crazy fight. So, yeah, that's my pitch. That's my pitch.
Markia, final thoughts.
This is like I said, this is a female-driven space pirate movie. We have Michelle Yeoh, who is absolutely amazing. It already is going to tap into pre-existing fan bases. Anybody who like Battlestar Galactica, like Firefly, love Guardians, love pirates and heist movies, they're going to come together to band around this. And then along with that, there's so much traction that this can have. It doesn't just have to be a standalone movie. When you have these space pirates going out to find artifacts, battling with each other, and then not only does it flesh out the cosmic universe and away from an anti-hero from a bad guy, kind of point of view, you get to have things like I said, the rune staff. You get to have other orbs. You get to have other books and artifacts that are also involved with it. And along with it being space, you get to have the powers, like with how she has light manipulating powers. This is a solid property that can span off into other things.
Koi?
The only way we don't lose the superhero bubble is if every single genre changes. We have the heist film in Ant-Man. We have the destruction film that is Civil War. We keep evolving and we keep the genre alive and fresh. We go deeper into Space Pirate, Guardians loses its flavor. We go too deep nerd, Volume 3 can't exist on its own. The only thing we haven't done with superhero movies truly and completely is a Lethal Weapon / Die Hard era 90s action buddy cop film. The only two in the entire Marvel canon that exist that can do that and be different and weird and still feel like Guardians are Rocket and Groot. It has a built-in market, it has people that want to see it, and it's not too deep nerd to alienate the audience, and it's a buddy cop space movie.
Dan.
Yes. And that adrift as I was in this ocean of things I knew nothing about. Star Trek was brought into the conversation. I went, I know that. So I would like to point out, and I did confirm that neither Babylon 5 nor Star Trek Deep Space Nine were canceled. Both of them ended on their own terms. So those were not those shows were not canceled.
I didn't jump
They
on that because I
were-
thought maybe
yeah.
you won't fact check that one. It works for me.
Surprisingly, Howard the Duck and is the most popular answer on Twitter.
has
A
a
lot of
movie.
people want to see the Howard the Duck of the MCU
Seth's
spun off.
stoked right now.
It's a horrible movie.
There's
I tried to watch
Jester
it.
Mark wants a Gamora Nebula spinoff. Patricia
That's nice.
Carrillo says, I would gladly go see a space pirate film with Stallone and Yao, so she's on board. But a lot of people also saying that, obviously Rocket and Groot, very popular characters, and a lot of people drawn to Matt's dense nerdiness. Not dense as in dumb, dense as in like
Yes.
so much
Deep,
to it.
deep cuts.
So I do
What's the
have
poll say?
I do have the poll. The poll has there's a
Rocket and Groot,
clear
right?
there's a clear winner in the poll. Yeah, it's 50% voting for Rocket and Groot, 34% with the Ravagers, 16% voting for Galactic Guardians.
Wow.
Keeping in mind, there's no guarantee that all these people are watching the show. So not a scientific poll.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with them. I kind of want to see Groot and Rocket, and that argument of Rocket as Wolverine, Planet Decimated, and your argument specifically that these two will sort of step on Guardians 3 gives Coy the point.
I want to see that movie so bad. I want a prequel so bad because they're CGI. So
Now
we
admit you want to see all of them.
I admit I would see both those movies.
Yeah, right?
We're fighting. We can't be friends in this
No,
moment.
we're so like on
They're still-
Tuesday.
yeah.
You see us on Tuesday.
Just coming
No,
Tuesday
it's
with
so
black
good.
eyes and just like
Yeah.
remember that time.
All right, round
Yeah.
4. Let's have some fun. What 70s or 80s actor should pop in the next Guardians movie? Who should they play? Maybe James Gunn's watching. Here's your pitch. Let's make the sell. We're back to you, Coy. Who do you want?
This was the happiest I've been thinking of a casting choice in a very long time. This not only fulfills 2 of the most iconic roles the actor has played, but gives me characters I've wanted to see for a very long time. I want Neo / frickin' the dude himself. I want Keanu Reeves as Silver Surfer so bad. I can just picture like that majestic John Wick mofo just like cruising around in a surfboard, just doing awesome action, going to weird corners of the internet, being a herald of Galactus. Like, whoa. I know Kung Fu, man. Like, it's just so perfect. There is no spoon. There's a surfboard, bro. Like, I need that. I want it. It's the only way I really think we can have the Silver Surfer work. It's the only way to make him marketable. I would pay so much money to see Keanu Reeves in all silver hover up to a giant Galactus. And if he could be played by Stallone and we have the whole double 80s whammy, great. But I want Keanu Reeves as Silver Surfer.
Markia.
I want Bill Murray as the gardener. So that's not the gardener. That is not the
Celestial.
gardener
He
at all.
gardens very violently.
I'm like, whoa, that's a whole different movie. The gardener
It's a
is an
celestial.
elder of the universe. He is in possession of one of the Infinity Stones. Actually, like in the comics, it's the Soul Stone, I believe. But his whole thing is that it's Soul Stone, and then like later it's a Time Stone. I see them writing it down. Stop. Where his whole thing is that he grows beautiful plant life. He does this on many different worlds. He travels to the different worlds, and he's able to freeze them. Freeze them as in time freeze. So it's just this beautiful, bountiful. He does that, and he brings plant life to different planets. Why Bill Murray should do this? Okay, when they had Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster, it was just a perfect click of yes. We want Jeff Goldblum as Grandmaster. We have that. Just something with Jeff Goldblum and how he is in essence transcends to Grandmaster. How Bill Murray is in essence transcends to the elder, the gardener. And what's better is that he's even relevant because he actually exists in the universe, and we could visit him during like this whole thing that we're about to have with Thanos. Picture Bill Murray. You have Bill Murray from you got the, curmudgeon Bill Murray from Groundhog Day as the gardener, or, like a little bit standoffish, Zombieland Bill Murray. A little bit of Kingpin is thrown in there. That's the gardener.
Yeah.
A little bit of Kingpin thrown in there.
zoom in on me, Ryan?
It's this beautiful mixture of all the essence that is in Bill Murray. He's just so made to be the gardener that I hope he's watching, and James Gunn just cast Bill Murray as the
Give
gardener.
Bill Murray the beard.
Yeah, he probably already has a beard
Everyone
right
has
now.
Kingdom beard.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And the Soul Stone's right in his right.
Matt.
I saw 70s and 80s, and I could only think of one person. the quintessential 80s actor is Dolph Lundgren. And he would be perfect to pull off Cosmo the Space Dog. I've already talked about him. He's been in 2 movies. He's primed to come in the 3rd movie. You know he's going to be there. James Gunn knows he's going to have him in there. And Dolph Lundgren playing this, like, kind of this mean-spirited, but like kind of because he was abused, very similar to Rocket kind of character in Cosmo the Space Dog, I think would be perfect. He's got that sort of like, he can play kind of softer, like, hey, let's talk about this, but he can also be very mean and very upset, and you never have to see Dolph Lundgren. Like, you just get to hear his voice and hear his wonderful 80s essence coming through his voice, and probably motion capture that they'll use for the dog in some capacity. So that's my choice.
So cameos are fun because you get someone you're really excited to see or hear. And, well, Dolph Lundgren's doing Imagine Dragons music videos, so I don't really know how much people really want to see Dolph Lundgren. I don't think it's really exciting, whereas Keanu Reeves just did John Wick, so there's the biggest Reeves reconnaissance right now we could possibly ask for. And Keanu Reeves playing Silver Surfer is the only way Silver Surfer is likable. They tried to do it once Fantastic Four and failed. If you have it with the right team, not only is it better than the actor and the role, it's the combination of the actor and the role becoming a greater than the sum of its parts equation, which is Keanu Reeves as Silver Surfer.
Marquia, help me out with this.
Okay.
The question was 70s or 80s actor, right?
Yes, absolutely. 70s or 80s
Yeah,
star.
70s or 80s actor.
Bill
Okay.
and Ted.
Bill and Ted. You would not define Keanu Reeves as an 80s actor.
Because he transcends all time.
That
but
is
I
true.
would describe...
Dolph
You would
Lundgren-
describe him as more of a 90s actor.
More of a 90s
So,
actor.
Not to
mention,
he's a 90s actor.
Not to mention.
Are
good
these the
sir,
same semantics we
Can we-
argued about
can-
ad revenue?
All
Because
right.
when I
Can
use
we
my
also
phone,
can
we're
we
just
also
saying
just
ads.
really
We're
quick
just saying.
say with like Silver Surfer how it's impossible for Marvel to
we're
have
not-
him?
are we
This
talking-
isn't
oh, like
like
Spider-Man
Kevin
was
Feige
impossible
even
because-
said
like
that this is
Spider-Man
an
was impossible.
impossibility.
Oh, yeah.
Spider-Man
Okay,
was impossible,
Fox don't
but
play
he's
nice.
possible now.
All
So
right, and you
now
know
when we
this.
go to Volume 3 and on,
Okay,
when it's
fantastic.
impossible to have Spider-Man, yeah, Silver Surfer's a way bigger get than Spider-Man, guys.
Oh, actually, yes, he is. Fantastic,
is.
Fantastic Four, Silver
Spider-Man?
Surfer. No. Silver Surfer is a bigger get than Spider-Man, and Marvel doesn't have Spider-Man. They co-do it with Sony. Sony
Quid pro
has
quo to
Spider-Man.
Sony.
You're right,
that's
so
a,
that'd
that's
be
a
the
totally
Fox
different
deal.
thing.
You follow
no,
that thread.
Fox doesn't
I wanna-
play. Don't
we
even
don't
talk.
have
I want
that.
to remind
Okay, no.
you of the
Back
argument.
in-
You just
I'm
said
gonna re- I'm
Silver
gonna
Surfer's a bigger get than Spidey. I just want to
But here's
no.
Marquia's point. Here's Marquia's point. It's not that he's a bigger get. It's that you're also getting Silver Surfer, Galactus, and the Fantastic
And
Four.
Dr.
not,
Doom.
And Dr. Doom.
So
Fox
after
is not
owns all
letting
of
them
them.
go.
After
They're not
Gifted
letting them
fails
go.
and the next X-Men fails, it's a total likelihood that we'll get that all
sorry.
back.
Okay, so Fox is coming off of Legion. Fox is coming off of Deadpool 1 and 2. Fox is coming off of just signing Cable, Josh Brolin on for 4 movies.
So the X-Men
Fox
universe, I
is
totally
coming
agree, is
off-
doing very well. Fantastic Four, what happened there?
Fox does not need to do any. Fox
If
doesn't
you
have to
guys
give
want to
them
win
to
on
do
a legal
anything.
technicality that
I'm
isn't
just,
proven
I'm
well,
just
then
telling you.
congratulations, I'm
Fox
really
is
excited
holding
for
on
it.
to Silver
My
Surfer
argument
until
is so good, you have to
2022.
argue
Here's the
with it.
second round. Fox could make a deal. It's
Sure.
unlikely.
Here's the other
They're
thing.
holding on to him until 2000. I'm sorry, what was that?
So
Fox could make a deal, but it's unlikely. Let's agree on that.
Here's the other
Very
thing.
unlikely.
Keanu Reeves, we would all agree, fantastic action star. The dude can do karate. He can. I've seen the video of him like, "What's up? I'm a gunsmith, mother." You know, like da-da-da. He's great at that. Silver Surfer doesn't do that. He surfs by on his board. He's like, "What's up? Power Cosmic, zap, zap,
the
zap."
voice of Keanu Reeves coming out of Silver Surfer as
great,
you're saying.
wonderful.
So there
wonderful,
it is.
sure.
So what more do you
But
want? And he surfs, bro.
he's completely wasted on
Point
it.
Break Silver
Dude,
Surfer.
If you put Keanu Reeves in a movie, I want to see him kick every ass every 1,000 ways
That
he
is
can.
true.
And he would when he
Silver-
gets off that board.
That
He
is
has
damn
every
true.
ability to
Except
do
that you've
everything.
never seen Silver Surfer in the comics be like, "What's up? I'm a kung fu master." He
Yeah,
doesn't do that
he doesn't.
because he
He's-
doesn't have to. He's like, "Zap."
You think
now you
Keanu
don't
Reeves wants to
exist.
fight
Get
in
out.
every
And
single
then-
movie? You don't want to hear the voice of Keanu Reeves, the
I'm sorry,
physicality, all
John
of
Wick
those
1 and
things.
2, he was dragged to the altar to do
Right,
those?
exactly.
No,
He
he wanted
wants
to
to,
do those.
but he doesn't want
And
to do
actually,
just
because
that.
of John Wick 1 and 2, that is a complete letdown to have him be, the laid back, zen of that Silver Surfer.
Yeah, Neo was a really rough role for him to be laid
Okay,
back
I'm
and
sorry.
talk through
Neo
things.
was like, we're talking like 20 years ago at this point. There's more to
So
him
once
than
again, we're
that. It's
arguing
like John Wick 1
timeline
and 2.
Keanu Reeves, not arguing the casting because you both agree the
What I'm
casting's great.
saying
I
with
agree.
Bill
I have
Murray
not
is
agreed.
that
I have not agreed on that.
Bill Murray is such an incredible fit for the Gardener that I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't already a courier at his door to be like, "Hey, here's a contract for whatever you want
What do you guys
to play
think of
this
that?
elder."
I think he's Okay, that's fine.
And I think he's
that's
above Marvel. I think Bill Murray isn't gonna do.
I would argue the technicality that like what you said with Keanu Reeves, I wouldn't define Bill Murray.
You wouldn't define Bill Murray by Caddyshack.
Let me finish my thought.
Stripes,
Bill Murray.
Ghostbusters.
Let me finish my thought.
1 and 2.
Bill Murray transcends his decade. Bill Murray is legendary. He is no longer an 80s actor. He existed in the 80s. He existed in the 80s. He existed in the 80s. He did Rushmore. He did Royal Tenenbaums. He's done a lot of other great movies. Zombieland. He's done so many great movies that I would say he transcends his time. And I
think that's the weird technicality to
there
try
are
to
two
argue.
people that are going to make me cry when they pass away: Stan Lee and Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. I could not choose him for this because he's not an 80s actor. That's the biggest point. But he's not. He exists in the 80s actor. Now, Dolph Lundgren, he is an 80s actor.
Nobody wants to hear Cosmo the Space Dog talk at this point. He's already shown up. He's already popped up in 2 of the movies. We're cool with him in his little astronaut suit.
You're saying that when Cosmo the Space Dog shows up in the film and all of a sudden he talks and all of a sudden it's Dolph Lundgren, you're going to be like, man, I'm good. I'm going to leave the theater. Like,
compared
that's what
to
you're
Bill
saying?
Murray as the gardener, if I had the choice between those two, I'd choose Bill Murray.
All right, let's take the time out of it, the 70s, 80s. Let's take that out of it. Let's just focus on because we accepted them all. They all made movies in the 80s, whether they were big or not. They're all allowed. Who do you want to see the most, and why do you want to see it over the other two? Final thoughts here. So tell me why Keanu it would be better in Silver versus Bill Murray and Dolph Lundgren. Go ahead.
When I think of a cameo, I think of how excited I am to have a moment in the film. Especially, like, the reason Stallone worked is because you were excited to see Stallone. The reason Seth Green is the voice of Howard the Duck is you're excited for these people. I don't think I'd be excited for Dolph Lundgren to voice a dog. I don't think that would really have a moment for me. I mean, like I said, Imagine Dragons music videos. The guy is not a force. Bill Murray is a force. I agree with that. But I do not see that force used well as the gardener. The guy's called the gardener. I don't want to see Bill Murray relegated into a man who gardens. That's literally his name. His superpower of gardening would waste Bill Murray. Bill Murray is the one above all. Bill Murray might as well be a Watu. Bill Murray should be the eternity is better for Bill Murray. It is a waste of Bill Murray to make him the gardener, and is actually, a waste of Cosmo to make him Dolph. And I'm saying that as a guy who just argued against a Cosmo movie. I want that movie less than I want Dolph as him, and Keanu Reeves as Silver Surfer not only gives us the best of Neo, the best of Bill and Ted, the best of everything Keanu's known for, it gives us a Silver Surfer that would make us excited to see him, and that is a very hard thing to do after Silver Surfer's wasted. Give me Keanu Reeves.
Arkia, final thought.
Bill Murray is Bill Murray for a reason. That's why he would make a fantastic The Gardener. Because think about it, Groundhog Day, he's man who reports and repeats day. Zombieland, man who hides in house. Kingpin, man who bowls. He is Bill Murray because of these movies, of how he transcends that, and both of you were saying how he transcends, how he's this ultimate force. He's perfect for The Gardener. I can just picture it when we have this whole thing with Thanos Quest, and it's coming up on Bill Murray, and then there's just this peaceful glade, and then you have Bill Murray as the gardener, and his sarcasm and his snarkiness, along with just his when he does that holier than thou thing, he's going to flesh out this character like nothing else. It's like if the gardener could have been, who was made first, Bill Murray or the gardener? I don't know, because it's kismet for the two of them together. And I see that more than Keanu Reeves because of his recent work, John Wick 2. I don't want to see him as a Zen guy. He's transcended that. That's not him anymore. He's not Silver Surfer now. If he was Silver Surfer in the past, he's not it now. And then we've totally already had Cosmo the Space Dog. I don't need for him to speak, and let's move on from that.
Matt?
Everyone loves Rocket Raccoon. Everyone loves Rocket. There's no denying that. So why not have a rivalry for Rocket to fight against? Cosmo is Rocket's biggest comedic foil in the comic books. So can you imagine Rocket fighting a Dolph Lundgren voiced Cosmo in Guardians 3? Can you imagine? That would be so much fun. Now, I'm not saying Bill Murray wouldn't be great, but if I saw Bill Murray show up as the gardener in the movie, all of a sudden, that's Bill Murray. I'm not paying attention to the movie anymore. Now I'm like, they got Bill Murray. There he is. And that's like, I'm excited about Jeff Goldblum, but that's going to take me out of the movie the second I see him. I'm going to be like, Jeff Goldblum, he's a wacky choice. Let's see what he does. So I'm not saying he's not a great choice, but I'm saying he's going to immediately take me out of the movie. Now, Keanu Reeves, sure. Okay, like, but I want to see him fight. I don't want to see him static on a board and surfing around.
He gets off the board.
But it is get it up, but skip it.
Thoughts.
Skip it.
He does.
Final thoughts.
Coy.
He does.
He very rarely gets off the board. Like, sure, Keanu Reeves is a surfer, but Keanu Reeves is wasted. He is absolutely wasted using him as a Silver Surfer because he's just going to sit on his board and blast people with the power cosmic. I don't want to see Keanu Reeves used that way. I would rather see him play someone like Jack Flag or Bug or something like that, where he's getting down and like, what's up? Come face me, mofo. Like, I would rather see that. As, like, we've seen Cosmo, he's a great foil for Rocket. Dolph Lundgren is the perfect voice for a Russian space dog who was launched into space against his will and has now learned to just like fight and scrap for himself against all odds.
Dan.
Yes, this is a rarity. Twitter has now unified for the second time in one fight against semantics. They have all said enough. Fight. So like they were not so much fans of the Keanu Reeves. Rumored to be interested in playing Silver Surfer for many years in the 90s. Even in 2006 when they were making Rise of the Silver Surfer, was rumored to have been cast. Lawrence Fishburne ended up playing that part.
He's got a melodious voice.
The other Matrix guy.
Yes, the other Matrix guy.
The idea of Marvel and Fox, of course, we just saw. We're in Guardians fights. Ego the Living Planet appeared in Guardians Volume 2 due to a deal they made with Fox for Negasonic Timur Jorhead to appear in Deadpool. And then, of course, according to Kevin Feige, they co-own the rights to the Race of the Watchers, who also appeared in Guardians Volume 2. So dealing between those two studios, not unheard of. Of course, a lot of people would like to see even more.
Specific characters they won't let go of. They won't let go of Super Skrull. They won't let go of Uatu.
I am establishing precedents.
Sorry. Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Based on the arguments, it came down to the final thoughts for me, and I thought Matt gave me the most because I was really sold on Bill Murray until you sort of gave me the argument that, well, that would take me out of it. That's Bill Murray. What's he doing here? That's fun. It's like, yeah, it's great, but Dolph Lundgren giving Rocket a foil, and Dolph Lundgren is sort of it's kind of clever. Ivan Drago doing Cosmo. It's like kind of clever, and I think Keanu, he got you just hard with. He's on the board the whole time. Well, it sounds cool, but then the more you realize he's just going to stand there and zap people, and that was a good point. So I got to give Matt the points. Matt, you make it to the speed round. We have one more round here to see who joins you, unless you get a really good lead. We'll have to do a tiebreaker. But let's do this. Round 5. What was the poll, Dan?
Oh, the poll, yes. It was 49% voted for Keanu, 36% Bill Murray, 15% Dolph Lundgren.
Of course.
Again, it follows our trend of most recent, then the middle most, and then less.
All right, in honor of Baby Groot, we're taking a little bit off of Guardians here. What other film should introduce a baby version of one of its characters? Aww. Markia, you're first.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, this is the first thing that I thought of because it was like, oh my gosh, this would just be so incredibly adorable, and it wouldn't be hard to do because he already exists in a magical land. And mine was having a baby Puss in Boots.
Ooh, from Shrek.
Oh my god! I mean, he's already adorable and lethal as he is like as an adult form. So then you have Puss in Boots as a baby kitten with the big eyes, and then he's still just as lethal. And I have a possible movie that he can be in. Okay, so for Kitty, let's say Kitty Soft Paws and Puss in Boots, they have kittens. And then, but he still wants to adventure, oh, I used to be a tomcat, that kind of a thing. So he ends up wanting to go up against Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. But because of, magic hijinks, because they live in, the fairy tale land, he gets changed into a baby kitten. So he battles with his kittens and with Kitty Soft Paws, trying to not only get restored back into adulthood, but he also has a journey with him and his kittens of learning where they're really, at with this. And there was even a movie that they were going to do. It's called Puss in Boots 2, 9 Lives and 40 Thieves. Yeah.
All right.
Puss in Boots.
Matt? I decided to stay in the Marvel family for this one, and thought that Baby Hulk would be just about the cutest thing ever, and possibly just one of the greatest movies ever. Because, can you imagine, it's Baby Hulk. Like he can still lift a house, but he's a baby, and now you've got to try and subdue a baby and keep
Is he
a baby.
as strong as adult Hulk?
Yeah, of course he is.
Okay.
He's Hulk. Like Hulk has like infinite strength. So, like Bruce Banner, my idea is that Bruce Banner gets turned into a baby from some like Dr. Doom ray or whatever. Who cares? Shatari come down. They're like, we have baby rays, and all they do is hit Bruce Banner. But Bruce Banner still has irradiated blood. So
he's like Boss Baby. He still has his adult mind.
Oh well, yeah. Well, I don't know. Actually, maybe he does it.
Okay.
But the point is, if he wants his rattle, he hulks out. If he wants to go to sleep, if he's a sleepy little guy, he hulks out. If he's hungry, he hulks out. So no matter what, you're having to try and like keep this baby so happy all the time. But it's a baby, so it's impossible. And hijinks are going to constantly ensue with a baby Hulk.
Coy.
I went with a character near and dear to my heart. I also wanted to stay in Marvel. For some reason, I read into this and just like locked my brain into Marvel. I couldn't escape it. I want the character that has so many weird spin-offs in the comics to start to transit into the movies. There's Headpool. There's Lady Deadpool, there's Dogpool, and man, oh man, do I want Baby Pool. The moment I saw that little tiny dancing Spider-Man in that ad campaign for Amazing Spider-Man 2, I knew in that moment I needed a Baby Deadpool. I want to see the Merc with the mouth as a little tiny version of himself, and I want to see the hijinks of Deadpool and Baby Deadpool. I want a foul-mouthed child. I want a little mercenary that doesn't know right from wrong, that uses little toy guns. Basically, I want Tom Sawyer as Deadpool. I want a little tiny, like Alvin and the Chipmunks version of like Dennis the Menace. Yeah, Dennis the Menace Deadpool. I want that movie so bad because we already have an immature character. We already have someone that is like definitely a Stifler-esque, very sophomoric. You add to that the fact that it's a child. It not only explains his personality, but it gives you an entire new depth to this weird little character that like, man, just a little version of him. He already exists in the comics. There's already a giant-headed little, imagine a Funko doll Deadpool. That's what I want to see in a movie.
All right, fight it out, guys.
Okay, I will establish that they saw all of our answers and they accepted all of our answers, so it didn't have to be Marvel.
Oh, no.
No.
That's what
We weren't
you
saying
said,
that.
like,
We weren't
those
saying that.
things.
I'm
We
saying I
weren't
got stuck
saying
in
that.
that headspace.
I think they were just, oh, yeah. No, it's all fair.
We
Go
weren't
ahead.
saying that.
But I do think that both of these characters stay the same. Puss in Boots already has big eyes. Okay, it's cute. Hulk, when he hulks out, is kind of like a child. And then you lose all the depth of the Hulk. The Hulk's whole point is that he's like trying to fight this inner monster in rage. So if you want to ruin the Hulk, just watch the Ang Lee movie. If you want to watch Puss in Boots, just watch Puss in Boots.
I just want to clarify, was it Deadpool and he has a baby Deadpool? So it's not actually a baby version
It's a baby
of
version of him from another time zone. Like a negative zone or some other
So
version of
we're
reality.
incorporating different timelines along with it being a baby Deadpool
Yeah,
and an
we didn't
adult
say we could.
Deadpool.
Does Baby Deadpool know how to use weapons?
Yes.
Okay, how did he learn how to use weapons?
He's a baby Deadpool.
Okay, so because and how old is he?
He is a baby.
Because you were saying Dennis the Menace. Dennis the Menace is easily
Yeah, he's,
7,
I'm saying that type of
8,
that
right?
flavor of show.
He's like fourth grade,
He's like fourth grade.
Third grade.
I'm saying the
third grade.
so
He's not a
I'm
baby.
just,
flavor of
I'm
show.
just suggesting
Okay.
that
He's
at the
not
very
that old.
base,
He's
I'm just
2 or
saying,
3.
I'm just saying that your pitch for a baby Deadpool is flawed, and I hate to get into semantics. I know you're all gonna hate me, internet, but that's toddler Deadpool at
Yeah.
best.
Yeah,
Now
we're talking
I want
baby version.
baby Hulk. I want baby. He's a tiny little
Can you
dude.
clarify for me? Because
Sure.
you keep on saying, "Oh, he wants to be fed." Oh, the hijinks.
he's a baby.
Who's taking care of him?
Who's
not
Avengers?
dead
listening?
yet.
The
Everyone's
Avengers, all
dead
the
if there's a
Avengers-
baby
The
Hulk.
Avengers are all having to try and take care of baby
he's
Hulk.
somehow been shrunk, but he's kept his adult brain. Not even baby.
No, he's not even
Groot
keeping
could
his.
keep his
He's
adult.
not
You
keeping.
said he kept his adult
I
brain.
said that, then I
Maybe.
went back
You
on
said
it.
maybe.
Everyone sounds
okay.
dead.
Now I'm gonna take that back. No, so it's the Avengers. It's not the entire plot of the film, like Baby Groot isn't the entire plot of Guardians of the Galaxy. Baby Hulk is now this thing that the Avengers have to effing deal with. They've got this little bitty wrecking ball running through the house, through the mansion, through the tower, wherever they're at. And Tony Stark is like, I've got to go work on my Iron Man armor. And Baby Hulk comes running in because he's mad because he hasn't been fed. And then he wrecks the whole lab. And Tony Stark has to find a way to subdue cute
I
little
will say
Baby
that
Hulk.
the only movie that has like a lot of levels and also a lot of marketability is having a baby Puss in Boots with Puss in Boots
Yeah,
2.
because Because we've already seen Puss in
Right,
Boots.
if you look at the picture of him with the big eyes, that's just Puss in Boots.
Because, like I already established, is that he's grown with Kitty soft paws in him, and they have kittens. So he has adulthood, he has fatherhood, and he doesn't like the taste of it. So you have that journey. So then, when that magic grants your greatest wish, but it shrinks him down to baby Puss in Boots, where he then has to battle with the same kittens that he doesn't understand. So then he gets a whole new level of understanding with battling with his kittens.
But what changes?
I heard a lot of those too. Tell me, Baby Pool.
So Baby Pool works because these two work because it's already a weird extra universe. Like you know, that's a fantasy land. Deadpool's certainly not in the realm of reality by the time they get to Deadpool 7, which is inevitable. If you put Hulk in there, that kind of ruins the Avengers. Whereas a baby Deadpool, we've already established in the comics Headpool. It's literally a zombie version of Deadpool he carries on his arm. We've established Dogpool, which is literally a talking dog that runs around. Maybe Dolph Lundgren can voice him. Now, what I want is a baby Deadpool that goes on these adventures that is literally a Dennis the Menace but younger, a young flavored version of the character that Deadpool is having to deal with, realizing how annoying Deadpool is. The reason Spider-Man Deadpool work is because Spider-Man's more annoying version is Deadpool. The reason Deadpool works is because the more annoying version of Deadpool is baby Deadpool. You've already got a buddy dynamic because he's dealing with this. Imagine a big-headed Deadpool in a diaper. I want that, I need it, and it fits in the universe of how weird Deadpool gets. It doesn't fit in the Hulk because Hulk doesn't have that ability to lose all the depth of the character. If I wanted to see Puss in Boots be a small, tiny kitten, I would watch Puss in Boots.
Well, he's not a tiny kitten, Puss in Boots, so you wouldn't be able to see it except for in the sequel.
The character
it's just
is
a bit
pretty
too
cute.
Do you
weird.
need to watch Shrek?
It's already a bit too weird.
This is
that
Puss in Boots, not Shrek.
That you,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Is there a Puss in Boots movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun, and it
There's
has
a
Selma
Netflix series
Hayek.
too.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot
And
of Puss in
Netflix
Boots
series.
that don't need to exist. We should have more.
It's a very profitable franchise that could have
Unlike
another.
Deadpool.
That could have another.
Actually, I think did raise more money than Deadpool.
Puss in Boots did?
Shrek,
what's
the
it?
Shrek franchise.
Yeah,
Shrek
which
franchise,
Puss in Boots is
Shrek 2 is surprisingly high on the list of all time
Yeah,
movies.
because it's a family movie. It's a family movie. It transcends different levels. It's kind of like how Pixar and DreamWorks would be able to do it, where hey, this is a movie for your kids, but it's also a movie for adults. While yours is just an adult movie, but it's also confusing with the timelines. And then it's like I prefer
Cable.
to. Well,
It's
yeah,
confusing.
with cable, techno
he
organic
brings the baby
virus
back
and
like
stuff,
Faith.
but it's just like
It's baby Deadpool.
it's a bit too much. It's a too bit of everything, and it really just takes me out of it. Well, when I think about like having a baby Hulk, all I can think of is that it's like Problem Child 7, but like with the Hulk, and I don't want to see that. That's just, I mean, that franchise died for a really good reason, because it was just like nobody wants to see a kid like tantruming around without having an adult brain, without being precocious. When you have someone that's precocious, when you actually have Boss Baby, then that's a little bit more interesting, but that's just dangerous and weird.
Boss Baby?
While I saw that movie, and it's not bad. It's not a bad movie.
Sorry.
Yeah, but like with Puss in Boots 2, 9 Lives and 40 Thieves, where you can have him and his kittens, and you have all of these adventures that
here's the
would
argument
occur,
that you're
and
making
he'll be so sweet. And
You're
then when he goes back into adulthood, he realizes that he
learns
gets all
his
the
lesson.
lessons.
But it's the
Go ahead,
same.
quick final thoughts, Matt.
Well, your argument is for a movie, not for a character. And that's okay. I'm simply saying that everything that you're talking about is about the narrative of the movie, the theme of the movie, whatever else. It has nothing to do with Baby Puss in Boots. We don't need Baby Puss in Boots, because the biggest argument that you have for Baby Puss in Boots is that Baby Puss in Boots would be really, really cute. It would be. You know what else is really, really cute? Puss in Boots. Puss in Boots is already extremely cute. They have the giant eyes that they have. Like Puss in Boots has giant eyes. They have giant eyes on Puss in Boots because it's like a baby. That's part of the design. It's intricate. It's integral to the design of him. Baby Deadpool, like, I don't need to see Baby Deadpool. Deadpool's enough. Like, Deadpool is already wacky and out there. I don't need to see Baby Deadpool. Baby Hulk introduces an entire new weird level to the Avengers, or to Thor. We've got him going around with Thor now, and that weird buddy cop movie. Speaking of buddy cop movies, we've got Thor and Hulk teaming up. They've got Jeff Goldblum. That's weird. Turn Hulk into a baby Hulk there. Fine, whatever. He's a crazy character to have turn into a baby all of a sudden.
Final thought, Coy.
The argument that Puss in Boots is already Puss in Boots is the same argument I have. I don't need it because it's already a character that we have established. When Hulk turns into a rage monster, that's already a Hulk that's a rage monster. So I feel like changing changing into a baby is just like a weird misuse of the tone of Avengers. The tone of Deadpool is so self-aware and so removed from reality. By the time you get to sequels, you can keep removing it from reality. And since there's so much weird canon stuff in the comics, and since time travel is already a factor, and since there's so much going on, the idea that we'll get Spider-Man and Deadpool is never going to happen. That's not going to be a thing. The way you get Spider-Man Deadpool is you turn Deadpool into the straight man and have an even wackier side thing, and then you deal with a baby Deadpool, and it's not going to be for the whole movie. It's a character. It's a piece. It's a small little margin, but it gives us the responsibility of seeing Deadpool. When Deadpool is the best in the comics, it's when you realize he has a heart, and when he has responsibility, you realize he's more than just the merc of the mouth. The only way to do that is to create another character that's more annoying and more young and more immature than him. This would literally be that character, so you can see that Deadpool is more than the sum of his parts, and that's how I introduced Baby Deadpool.
Damn.
Yeah, factually, Shrek 2 did make $441 million. Next on that list, though, is Deadpool. It made more than Shrek 3 and 4. And Puss in Boots, the movie, standalone, only made $149 million, so Deadpool actually way outgrossed that one. Factually, other than that, pretty clean round. Nothing more to report.
I mean, you all sort of picked something that was the same thing. You were all arguing that against each other, but Baby Deadpool's Baby Deadpool. Baby Puss Boots is kind of Baby Puss Boots, and Baby Hulk is Hulk. So I gotta base it on who gave me something different. Baby Hulk makes no damn sense at all. Which is great. This doesn't make any damn sense. And then Deadpool, I agree with Marquia. It's just a little confusing. And whereas her pitch was pretty great, and I gotta say, a baby Puss in Boots, a kitten is not the same as a cat. And a kitten Puss in Boots would be damn adorable, especially if he's got to deal with all his kids. Aww. Yeah. Marquia gets the point. What'd the poll say?
Do I have to tell you?
Baby Hulk? Or
No, 49% voted for
Pool.
Deadpool. Baby.
I was going to say Baby Hulk could have had a shot.
I figured that was
Puss in
second.
Boots.
30%, 20% voted for Shrek.
All right. Okay. I never sent you my choices here, so now I have to deal with this. Okay. I don't like any of these. Gotta find my list. I had a draft email where I approved of the speedrun questions, and I didn't send it. All right. This first one's good, though. Okay, here we go. Round one. You guys know how this works. You'll have 30 seconds, and then you'll have...
you could just, go over it with us.
Here we go.
You want me to go over it while you're going through your
Yes,
emails?
you can do that thing.
All right, guys.
So who's in this?
Welcome to the
the
speed
two of
round.
us?
Matt and Marquia.
Okay.
You now have 5 questions left. You have 5 more points to win the game. You're tied 2-2, so this is really a best of 5 competition. Andy's going to tell you a question. Some of them will be 50-50 questions. Some of them will be ones that you have to think about. Either way, whoever answers first, they get that answer. If you have the same answer as somebody else and they say it first, you have to think of another answer. Mm-hmm. You'll both have 20 seconds. Matt, if you answer first, you'll have 20 seconds. Marquia, then you'll have 20. Then you both will have a 10-second rebuttal.
Okay.
Coy is still in the game because he will be helping Andy and myself. Andy will ask for our guidance and who we thought won. So, but Andy makes the final judgment. Did I buy enough time?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, number one. Here we go. Ready, guys? So whoever speaks it first gets the answer. Better person to have a conversation with, Groot or Chewbacca?
Chewbacca.
Groot.
Okay. Matt picked Chewbacca. Marquia picked Groot. Okay, Matt, you're first.
Chewbacca is, he's much more expressive than Groot. Groot just says, I am Groot, whereas Chewbacca has various amounts of growls and howls and all these other different sounds that he can make that you can kind of get much more of the emotion that he's actually trying to convey to you, whereas I am Groot simply just says, I am Groot most of the time. Maybe he whispers it, maybe he screams it, but...
Groot would be a better choice because... chances are Groot has more of like kind of a telepathic thing that goes with the I am Groot because the amount of time that he spent with Rocket Raccoon, there has to be where it's like, oh, I connect with you because we know that from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 where he then connects with Peter Quill in the end credits. So, and also Chewbacca's like really scary and I don't want to have this huge thing.
Chewbacca is not scary. Chewbacca is a lovable shag carpet that you could hug for infinite amounts of time and hear his growl as he growled at you with his voice, and that would be very relaxing.
Chewbacca's a warrior. He's a warrior on the Millennium Falcon. He kills people. He's guttural and scary, and I don't want to have that in my ear at any time while Groot is so pleasant.
All right, that was the time. Based on those arguments, Coy.
That took a very weird turn.
Yeah, very weird turn. What do you think,
I
based on the
care about the
arguments?
ferocity of Chewbacca. I feel like based on the arguments, Matt argued more about the ability to communicate, whereas I don't think everyone has instinctively the ability to telepathically link with Groot. So I feel like Matt's argument for the communication skills was stronger. So I'm gonna give it to Matt.
Dan?
I would have to agree. I thought that Markia's argument relied on an unestablished telepathic connection that I'm not quite sure exists. I thought Matt made the better case for you could be more understanding of Chewbacca, so I also would side with that.
I have to agree. It was close, though, but Matt gets the first point. You're still in this, Markia. Here we go. Number 2. Who would win in a fight to the death? Drax or Nebula?
Nebula.
Drax.
All right. Nebula is up first, Markia, and then Drax will be next with Matt. Time begins when you begin speaking.
Nebula has survived Thanos. She's survived Gamora. She would definitely survive anything that Drax had. Drax couldn't even defeat that interdimensional creature at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 by himself. Nebula, after she gets an explosion, she just puts herself back together. Nebula also held the Infinity Gauntlet. Nebula would win hands down in a fight to the death.
Drax would win simply because he's the most reckless Guardian. He would dive headlong in with no consideration of his own safety and would just stab until she was dead. Like, he doesn't care how much he's gonna get hit at any point in time. He's just gonna stab. She's gonna die. No matter what, he'll rip her apart. He can absolutely do that. We've seen him do that plenty of times.
Yes, reckless Guardian. In fact, like when he called Ronan during Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and he couldn't even take him down. Ronan could have defeated him with one hand behind his back. Nebula shows no fear around Ronan, so therefore, Nebula, Ronan, Drax.
Drax also showed no fear around Ronan by rushing headlong at him, and sure, Ronan beat him to the ground, but he eventually got right back up, and Nebula was beat by Gamora, so I think that Drax could also take Gamora.
Oh, all right. Based on those arguments, Dan.
Those are two very compelling arguments. I think Markia might have tapped into something with the transitive properties regarding Ronan, so I'm gonna side with Markia on this one.
Cool.
I'm with Markia. The first round comeback was really strong. I did not expect that argument, but I feel like Markia really mentioned that Nebula rebuilding plus her veracity doesn't, and the first villain argument. I'm going with Markia.
Yeah, I can see both of those points. Agreed. Markia gets the point. 3-3. Keeping this interesting. All right. Number 3.
I hate speed round.
Baby, teen, or adult, best Groot.
I'm sorry, what?
Baby, teen, or adult, best Groot.
Teen.
Going teen, okay. Which we saw briefly in the end of 2 for those.
Well, I can't say the same thing, so I can only say teen.
No, or
Baby,
adult.
teen, or adult.
Wait, what?
Or adult.
Baby, teen,
Baby,
or
teen.
adult.
Oh,
which
I'm
was the
sorry, I
best?
didn't
Groot.
understand.
Yes, that's what I was sorry.
Can I say
making sure-
adult then?
You can do that's fair.
Because I'm not taking baby.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
You picked baby, you're picking adult. She
Adult.
did pick second, so I think that's fair. You already said yours first.
Sure.
So Matt gets baby. I want to make sure it was clear because I did say it fast. Matt is defending baby Groot, and Markia's fighting adult Groot. Go ahead, Matt, whenever you're ready.
Baby Groot. So Groot, as an adult, can rush headlong into any battle because he wants, because he's a giant. Baby Groot does that despite his diminutive size, and he's still effective in defeating at least one of the Ravagers. He's effective in beating other beings, and it really doesn't come down to who's a better fighter. It comes down to who has more heart. Baby Groot has more heart because we've seen him.
Adult Groot helped the Guardians when the Dark Aster was going down and encompassed them. Baby Groot could not do anything like that. If it wasn't for an adult Groot, then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 wouldn't even exist. Baby Groot is a baby, and he couldn't even take on Drax. He was kicked around and everything. Adult Groot is so strong, and
Again, it's not about fighting, it's about the heart in the person. It's like Captain America's argument. He was a weakling, but once he got power, he was great. But the heart was what mattered, and it's the same with Baby Groot. He has the heart despite this lack of strength.
do I talk again?
10 more seconds.
Adult Groot is better because he can kick more behind, and he also has the sentimentality of Baby Groot, but in adult form.
Time. Coy, based on the arguments.
You know, it's crazy. I am much more of an adult Groot fan. I like Baby Groot, but the argument, I gotta give it to Matt with the heart. That Captain America pull was really strong. I really think that the Captain America's what sold me, so I'm gonna give it to Matt.
Dan.
Yeah, strong arguments. The sacrifice from Ikea I thought was her strongest argument, but I liked Matt's argument of the baby is more of the heart and not necessarily the learned behavior. Very close, but I don't know. I gotta go with, I think I'm going with Matt. It's very close.
I'm on the fence too, but if you guys were both with Matt, it's gonna lean me that way. So Matt, you got that point. All right, so Marquia, you need to get this one. All right, here we go. Which Guardians film has the better soundtrack?
Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Volume 2.
All right, we got Volume 1 for Marquia, Volume 2 for Matt. Marquia, you're up first.
With Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, it's a better soundtrack because of that galvanized everybody else where it's like, oh, I'm really interested in what the music's gonna be for Volume 2 because it was so iconic with Volume 1. And then, like we were saying before, you have Come and Get Your Love, Redbone. You have Fooled Around and Fell in Love, Elvin Bishop, with that thematic statement goes right into Volume 2. You have Hooked on a Feeling.
With the second movie, you have Brandy, you have Chain, both playing very heavily into the thematic elements of the film, which the first film didn't do. I feel like James Gunn used songs better, interweaving them into the narrative of the film better. On top of the fact, he still used the songs terrifically. The Chain was a great song to fight to. Father and Son was a great song to end with.
Everybody has Volume 1. Everybody has that because after that movie came out, that just went into everybody's player. Everything that you have with that, Hooked on the Feeling was used for all those meanings.
No one's had a chance to get Volume 2 because it just came out. But Volume 2 is still an impressive soundtrack. They Father and Son made you cry. That song made you cry.
Dan, thoughts? They got hung up for me on the well, everyone has one. It's fit true, but unfair.
Yeah.
Based on just the soundtracks.
Better soundtrack.
She listed more songs.
She did. Well, no, I think no. It was Marquia's argument of like it did draw people in, but I think Matt spoke to how he used the music in the film.
He did.
And if there'd been a little bit more on Marquia's side about how it had been used in Guardians to kind of counter that, but Matt made some very compelling points for me about how he used the music in the movie. So I think.
Coy, what do you think?
I feel like the Marquia's argument was it was good, it was iconic, it brought people to the movie. Matt's argument was why it was good, why it tied into the movie, and what shaped it. So I feel like Matt gave more arguments to make it a cohesive unit versus good for good. So I'm gonna give it to Matt.
She did. She did one of those moves of, well, I argued this earlier, so she was implying that I felt like into things. So I did think she was thematically hitting it too. She did list more songs, but I did hear, this was to me was an argument of the list versus a little bit more of the meaning, and so the fact that both of them are going the meaning, I got to join them. The meaning took a little bit more from Matt, so I got to give Matt the point, which means Matt wins the game. Wow. That was crazy.
Why do I say yes to this?
Stressful, isn't it?
Well, this is stressful, but I hate fighting my friends so much.
All three of you did wonderful. Let's get. I want to make sure we plug Marvel movie news every Tuesday, 2:30. Wonderful job, you guys. Congrats, Matt. Anything else you'd like to plug? They can find you on Twitter at the Matt Key.
At the Matt Key. I also do a show for Geek and Sundry called the Wednesday Club, where we talk about comics. We do a really deep dive into comics. That's on Wednesday on Geek and Sundry's Twitch stream at noon. And then I'm here on Thursdays and Fridays helping out with Screen Junkies News.
Perfect. We love it. Marquia McCarty, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Marquia McCarty. That's MarkeiaMcCarty. And then, of course, Marvel movie news with these guys every Tuesday at 2:30. I also host WWE Raw AfterBuzz on AfterBuzz TV. That is Mondays at 8:30 with Johnny LaQuasto and Ty Matthews. I'll be doing Screen Junkies News not this Monday, but the Monday after that. So check me there.
Coy Andrew, where can they find you?
You can find me at CoyJandreau on Twitter and Instagram. I do the show with these lovelies, and I also just started doing using my speed round skills, which I've mastered here, to do mini reviews, 1 minute long reviews on Instagram of movies, of comics, of TV shows. I'm basically just getting all the content out in a minute because that's what I love to do, and this place honed those skills. And you can find me here fairly often and vote for me. I want to come back and fight Dan.
Oh yeah, you got an unfair plug there. That's true. But you can always try. That's what my plug is. Go to. We do have the web link up there again. Go ahead and vote for who you want to tackle Dan.
If they want to see me beat Coy again, they can.
Is there anyone
that's what you want to see.
You want to see?
What's that?
How did that list? Is there one you wish the fans would vote for?
No, like I said, that's a murderer's row.
You're all fair game.
Any group of 3 out of that list is going to be a great fight.
Yeah,
so,
you think it's unfair that Roca gets a second shot potentially?
I mean, obviously Roca can't win his way to the belt, so let's give him as many chances as we can.
This is a sneak preview of what's coming. This is intense.
Good. Great, awesome. Dan Merle at Merle Dan on Twitter, and we'll see you in a couple weeks, seeing who wins that one. It's gonna be intense. And check us all out for Flickbait. If you're watching on YouTube, it's already up on Street Nikki's News. Go check it out. If you're watching live now on Thursday, it's tomorrow at 4. Fridays, every Friday, 4 p.m. live. Hope to see you there. And there I am. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong camera. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. But we will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching. Join us next week for Cage Match. We're still working on the title. All Nicolas Cage, all next week with Flickpick and Mark Ellis, another TB determined guest who is obsessed with Nicolas Cage. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.